I'm glad this is awesome because it's giving you guys a chance to trickle in, get ready, get seated, grab your popcorn, so on and so forth. We're gonna get this party started anymore.
Anymore? That makes sense.
Perfect. All right, looking like about 3 more minutes is what they're telling me back there. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put 5 on the clock, and we're gonna give that little countdown a go. So you guys just have to listen to me bullshit for 5 minutes. I hope you don't mind me riffing a little bit too much. I hope you guys tuned in last night, had an absolute blast. Vidgie and Castle were over there with me, as was Loodle Miss and Adventurous. So I feel like even if it was just like 5 of us, it was still a decent showing for the DMZ. I'm pretty sure a couple of other people showed up. They were just in the back. It took a long time. And yeah, it's a fun show. I don't want anybody to ever think that I got something wrong with the blood sports. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's just I don't know that it's productive. You know what I mean? And so that's the reason that I err towards what we do here is because I feel like this actually can move the needle, whereas doing that is more, I mean, it's fun. It's fun. So give that little countdown a go. Wouldn't be a DMZ without technical difficulties. That is right, you moon. And welcome in, Kate. It's not. What's not? The blood sports isn't fun. So it depends on who you're doing it with and how you're doing it, I would say. Yeah, exactly. It was a blast. I still tend to bring good faith to a bad faith space. I am always in. Of course. There you go. Yes, it is not productive, but it is fun. Exactly. We try to be productive over here, but sometimes you got to let your hair down. And I did actually tell Auntie though that it was funny. I woke up this morning and I found myself just being mean, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with me?" Like a shit talking to people I'm watching on screen.
That's hilarious.
I was watching YouTube videos or whatever, and I'm like just saying just mean shit. I was like, "Fuck, is this what last night did to me?"
I mean,
like it made me like 25-year-old me.
You got the yips.
Ornery side of the bed. That's exactly right, Paul. That's exactly right. Welcome in, by the way. Welcome in. Cheers. So, yeah, for those of you who do not know and have never been here before, let me give you guys just a brief introduction while that clock keeps ticking down. Give you guys just an idea of what we do here. So the DMZ is a weekly good faith structured debate show. We do this every Friday.
Who's watching? Sorry, we're trying to work this out.
Debates themselves are
the debate hasn't started yet, so I'm trying to get people in here. We're just working hard.
We go back and forth between 1v1s and 3v3 bookings, as well as a 1v1 showcase. The 1v1, what we're doing tonight, they take about 30 to 40 minutes each. We encourage all of the streamers to just kind of mute themselves on Discord and then hang out and shoot the shit. If you're a streamer, you can like review the debates live on your own channel, stuff like that. You can also tune out until it's your turn. But when we get to the after party, you're going to get the chance to give feedback and pushback on the other debaters, the ones that you weren't actually a part of. So it helps to kind of listen a bit. The number, we have 3 debates on these nights, and we try to prioritize people based on a number of factors. Just like when we're scheduling, until we get to know you, we don't know everybody their first time. But once we've seen what you can do, we try to keep people vibe matched and skill matched. We're not looking for anybody to get shit on or dunked on or bullied. We're all here to try to get better. We are ultimately here to we can still get riled, right? We're trying to improve our rhetoric, and we're trying to insult the belief, not the believer. That's really what it boils down to. We're trying to create a more respectful space for people to have these types of high speed, high tension conversations. And ultimately, if we're just yelling insults at each other from across the street, you're never going to change hearts and minds. So I would like us to get back to a place where we're actually stopping and listening to each other. And what I figured out is when you put a timer above people's heads, they have a tendency to stop and actually listen, or at least try to, even if it is, just to fucking make fun of the other person. But at least you're listening. So anyways, it's hard to hate what you understand. And so being able to steel man a position you do not hold is also important to us, because it shows that you at least understand the best arguments from the opposite side, even if you don't agree with them, right? I just I wish that both sides would demonstrate an understanding of their opposition more often. I think that I think all things told, that would be a better world. So, all right, let's see where we at. All right, so everybody ready?
All right, let's go, boys.
We ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Well, you know what? We're doing fucking close enough. So, let's go. Here we go. I'm going to start bringing everybody in. All right. Yeah.
That's so dumb.
It's a late start, but you know,
we go back. Just go to
means that it's worth it. All right. So I'm just going to start bringing everybody up in here. I'm going to mute myself over there first.
What the hell's even happening?
That way
That's so dumb. All right. Where's the link to share it, man?
See.
Oh, there we go. Okay, my bad.
What is happening?
I screwed it up. Okay, no. My bad. I'm still new at this.
There we go. All right.
And
yeah. So we're gonna take and make sure that everything is straightened out here. Have I got all of my things unclicked? Yep. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the fun little intro and all that stuff, and we'll get this party started. So give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So here we go.
Let's F and go. Let's F and go.
And also, welcome to the DMZ. This is a place where we try to practice good faith rhetoric, not just farm gotchas and dunks. We use structure to cultivate conversations where you have to stop and listen to your opponent, even if it is just to find the flaws in what they're saying. So please check your weapons at the door, take notes, and attack the belief, not the believer. After each of the debates tonight, there will be a free link to where you can go to vote on which side you believe made the most compelling case. We want you to vote based on the debate and rhetoric skills, not just of who you agree with or who you like the most. So sit back, relax, get ready to cast those votes, and welcome to the DMZ. Now, tonight we have got 3 really good debates scheduled. And as I mentioned earlier, we have got, I think, 5 debaters who have never been here before. So we're going to introduce each of them before their actual debates as well, and we're going to get a little bit more. But before we do, I'm going to go ahead and introduce one at a time, just to go over at the debate prompts. We are going to go through debate number 1. Hold on, sorry, let me get this pulled up. Debate number 1 is going to be Donald Trump's actions are not significantly more extreme than previous U.S. presidents. That is going to be between the Vagine Machine and the Vince Wilson Show. Also, our second debate of the night is going to be poverty in America is a sign of exploitation. On the affirmative for that one, we're going to have Nightwisher. And on the negative, we're going to have Alley Cat. We can't see him just yet, but we're still trying to get that sorted out. Then, last but not least, our final debate of the night is going to be rights are absolute. This one is going to be between a regular here, who's also not shown up yet, but he's just running a little bit late from work. We're not going to wait for him, though. Game Boy 64. And another new face on the negative is Brandon Mize, making his debut. So we've got 2 great debate judges tonight, as I mentioned. Glad to have both of them here. They are, of course, the one and only Confluence, who has finally agreed to start judging with us, and is even going to be captaining that 3v3 I told you all about next week.
Hell yeah.
And then Ancom Psycom, a staple here that we are very, very fortunate to have every chance we get. So one more time, we're going to go through the debate format. Our debates are going to be 3-minute rounds with...
Hey, everybody. Hey, Varian.
10-minute centers. Now I have the ability to add 5 minutes if I think that it needs more time.
No, it's fine. I have no
but for
problem
now,
with
we're going
Emmett.
to start out with a 3-minute open from the
Emmett's good to
affirmative,
go. Like
followed by a
I don't
3-minute
do anything.
cross-examine or rebuttal from the negative. Then the negative gets 3 minutes uninterrupted.
You're not
to open,
wrong. I
and
am
the
a little too
affirmative
nice.
gets 3 minutes to cross-examine
issues.
or rebut as they see fit. Now, that is controlled time for them to use as they want. That is important to remember. Then we're going to get into the open forum where the debaters are actually going to be able to just crossfire with each other for 10 minutes.
Nightwisher
if after 10 minutes I feel like there's still some meat left on the bone and you guys are still having a productive conversation, I'll slap another 5 minutes on real quietly and I'll just tell you.
So I'm not debating tonight, actually, for once. My little sister Nightwisher there is debating. And so I'm just here to comment. I can't vote. I mean, well, I can vote. I told her if she screws it up, I'm going to vote against her. I was like, if you screw the pooch, I have to be objective, you know? So no favoritism here. I'm an objective guy. So, but I'll just, that's why I said it's Loodle Debates comments tonight. So there we go. But I've already warned her if she screws the pooch, I can't help you, sis. I think she's gonna be all right. All right, we'll go back to hit play again. Sorry about that. I'll hit play and bring it up to live.
You guys,
hey, thanks for being there, man. I appreciate
they actually
y'all
get to put that out there. So
I appreciate you coming out and hanging out. It really means a lot.
30 minutes each, and then after that, we're gonna rate ourselves out, and that's kind of when the drinking starts. That's when we start getting a little saucy. That's when we let people come in. If you're vetted or vouched in the Discord channel, we will bring you in, and you can kind of jump in and have fun with the conversation as well. So, if we have any questions, everybody.
So apparently if my sister screws up too much, I can go there and be like, come on, sis. I thought we were related. I don't think that will happen. She's a pretty smart one. But she's also entirely her and I are opposites. Like all the arguments I make and my worldviews are polar opposites of hers. And I still love the hell out of her.
Everybody's good. We're good to go. I will drop your link in the chat.
Quick, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
I'm not familiar with VDO Ninja, and I'm used to StreamYard where I get popped into a room and I do not see anybody other than myself.
For sure. I'm sorry. Thank you, buddy. Nope. Here you go. I've been to tell you guys this. For those of you in the channel, because you're also going to need to see that clock.
I'm so happy to just be meeting new people, and this has been it's been a wild freaking ride the last 3 days in this whole online thing. But there's a lot of good people out there, and we need to keep getting the good people put forward. People who care about their kids, people who care about the country, people who care about life, and just having honest conversations, which I think is really awesome. So I just got thrown into it sometimes, but I think things are moving in the right direction. I'm gonna keep it moving as best I can. So thanks for being here for the ride. I really do appreciate it.
Watch this and jump in there and say and do shit that we don't want them to. So. Just make sure you got that website muted, and we're going to do all of the audio through the Discord. So, and then Vince, you are streaming on Twitch, is that correct?
I'll also have comments on this debate too.
Twitch, YouTube
just basic legal analysis, basic argument analysis on this one too. So if anybody's out there listening,
just give me just a quick second.
No, you take as long as you need to, my friend. I'm sorry. Yeah, we try to get all of this set up in the front.
No, AVG is a good one. AVG is a good one. Isaac is a good one.
It's not a problem. But I am going to send you a stream together.
They're great. AVG is great, and AVG. I don't know if you saw actually 2 weeks ago, AVG and I were on a 3v3 panel. And we went at it pretty hard. It was pretty fun, but we still reconnected, and she's great. And she interviewed me when I got dropped in the Congo. So it was freaking hilarious. No, AVG is a good one. AVG is a good faith actor. She's freaking awesome. All right, I'm trying to get my pause game down so I can talk, because I don't want to talk over people, but I want to be able to talk so people can hear me, so I'm not just gobble, gobble, gobble. All right, let's go. Oh, if anybody's wondering about my outfit, no, I did not just come from playing golf against Brian Shapiro. I actually was at a Caribbean festival all day, and this is a Vincentian flag, St. Vincent flag shirt that I'm wearing. I If I just came from playing golf against Brian Shapiro, there'd be a 9-iron up somebody's booty. Let me tell you that much. To be fair.
Vagine, did you say that?
A little bit blurry, but that's fine by me. I can work with it. So
All right, sorry, man. Yeah, you look great on our screen. And for what it's worth, another option is if you pull up my stream. Like I said, I sent you the link for the stream together, and if you pull up my screen, you'll be able to see who is speaking at that time. That's what a lot of the other streamers do and such. So, all right,
it's okay. We'll rock and roll with it. I don't want to hold up anymore.
All right, cool. Let's make it happen. All right,
So I guess Vagine Machine is like maybe one of my spirit animals. Yeah, exactly. Right. But I got this hat this is actually an Irish fisherman's cap from Ireland, not some dollar store freaking dime bag freaking newsy cap. But apparently Vagine Machine is my spirit. She's vaping. She's got a mug. She's drinking. Apparently, I don't even know. We'll figure out. I mean, you are a mod. Don't kick anybody out. Like you can just hang out. This is my beautiful wife, by the way. I don't know why she has that name on the thing, but that's my beautiful wife, Portia, who's from St. Vincent, which I'm repping St. Vincent's flag. And I guess you are the mod, but don't mod anybody out. And I love you, baby, but you don't get the inside jokes. So Brian Shapiro, that's what the thing when we were driving to Atlanta and I was in the car being like, Brian, that's Brian Shapiro. He's a special person. Brian Shapiro is a special person. 34 count felon, Trump mushroom gobbler. Brian. I don't either. Oh my God, it was so funny. Last night when I was with Speakeasy. Yeah, don't leave Virian alone. Leave Virian alone. Leave Brittany and Virian alone. Oh, I think I'm missing some debate now. Okay, sorry. Let's go. So Let's go.
Vagine, to opening Vagine.
All right,
please tell us why you
Didn't
believe
miss it.
that Donald
Okay.
Trump's actions are not
Let's go,
significantly
Vagine.
more extreme than previous U.S. presidents.
Govern Virian hard, daddy, mommy.
Okay,
Poopy,
well,
poopy.
first off, good evening, everybody. Hope you all are having a fantastic day so far. First off, I would like to thank Horseradish for hosting this debate and inviting me on. This is my first formal debate, so hopefully I don't disappoint too much. I would also like to thank my audience and my opponent. During our debate, my opponent, who I'm sure has TDS, will be trying to explain why Trump is the most extreme president in America has had. Sure, Trump is bombastic, says off the rail shiz, and uses social media, but that is far from what I would consider as extreme. Now, I could give you lots of other options that are across the pond, but the prompt is America. So let me tell you, or so you tell me, what actions would you consider to be extreme? Would they be that of Andrew Jackson, who dramatically shifted power towards
Thank
the
God you
executive
didn't say
branch
Andrew
by
Wilson.
using
I
a
didn't want to get back into that
presidential
stuff.
veto more than any other previous presidents combined? Or when he famously ignored the U.S. Supreme Court rulings that protected Native American sovereign lands? Or how he aggressively enforced the Indian Removal Act, leading to the forced displacement and deaths of 1,000 Native Americans along the infamously known as Trail of Tears? Or how about good old Honest Abe? He unilaterally suspended the legal rights to challenge unlawful detention, leading to the imprisonment of thousands of suspected Confederate sympathizers without trial. When his administration shut down dissenting newspapers, conscripting citizens into military services, and implemented the nation's first income tax. Thanks for that, by the way. Really appreciate it. Now, the man that I think takes the cake. The undisputed, the most extreme, the most unprecedented president of the United States, who did the most radical shiz other than any other president in American history. The man, FDR.
Oh,
He
that guy was
attempted to
that guy was a
fundamentally
racist son of a bitch. I'll tell you
reconstruct
what.
the judicial branch by expanding the Supreme Court to add justices who favored his policies.
Hacking the courts
familiar.
much.
Also, to combat the Great Depression, Roosevelt vastly expanded
Wickery
size and
Filburn, you
scope of
can't
federal
grow wheat in
government
your
through
own
his
backyard
New
to
Deal
feed your own
policies.
animals because
He
it's
forcibly
interstate
removed
commerce,
gold from
even though it's
people's
not
homes,
interstate at
compelling them
all.
to use paper money, also known as U.S. currency today, instead of gold. And the best for the last, when he signed the Executive Order 9066, which forced over 120,000 Japanese
Better than that
Americans,
Jedi Order 6.
not talking about
6 or whatever it
illegals,
was.
Americans, into internment camps without due process. Now that sounds pretty extreme to me.
Pronounced process.
Trump
but fair
doesn't
enough.
even come close to the most extreme president by any metric, and that is actually the most expressed by his own base. He has actually gone, or he hasn't gone far enough on trade, on deportations, on prosecutions, etc. Look at the fumbling of the Epstein files. Need I say more? Trump's second term has actually been quite unremarkable. Strides in the right direction, but certainly not outside the norm. But if you can prove how Trump is actually more extreme than any other president mentioned, I would love to hear it.
All right. Very good. And as I'm sure you guys just noticed, if you get to the end of your timer, I'm not like super strict about it. I'm going to let you finish your thought.
He's not
Eventually,
gonna
you will
bog
see
you
me start to
down.
raise my finger up. We just lost video feed, Virginie. You will see me hold my finger up just for a moment, just to let you guys know. But again, I'm going to give it up to a minute or two if you need extra. So anyways, so this is now 3 minutes on the clock. Vince, this is your time. You can either use this to set up arguments or set up questions. You can poke holes or you can just rebut. It's your time to use as you please. I'll start the clock when you start to talk.
Yeah, absolutely. So tonight we're debating whether Trump is genuinely more extreme than past presidents. My answer is obviously yes. And I want to be upfront about what I'm not arguing. I'm not saying
Vince,
Trump invented corrupt.
Vince, I'm sorry to stop you. I just want to make sure you understand this is not your opening. You're going to get 3 minutes to open as well.
This is your
time to poke
Ask
holes in her
questions.
argument. You're
Ask
still welcome to
questions or make
continue if you like
statements.
to, though. Sorry,
But don't
just want to
ruin
make
your
sure you knew
opening.
that.
Don't
You're going to get a
ruin
total
your
of 6 minutes
teleprompter.
back to back. So this is your cross-ex time, as you were, sir.
Griller.
Oh, okay.
When
We talk about Andrew Jackson, who dramatically shifted power than any other previous president, would you say then?
No, FDR, Woodrow
just to be
Wilson.
clear,
I don't think
is this
more than
me
any
asking
other.
her
I mean,
the
before
question
that.
and then she answers. Or
That's
is it
how
just me
cross-examination
rebutting?
works.
I want
That
you
is
to
ask her
exactly
the
correct.
question.
You can
Yes.
choose to either use this time to directly engage with and refute the things she said, or to ask questions about what she said. It is your time to control. But again, I just want to let you know it's different from your actual opening time. You will also get 3
Yeah.
minutes to open. So
Okay.
as you were, sir. No worries.
Okay.
It's your first
By
time. That's why I wanted to stop
cross-examining, you
Go ahead.
ask them questions.
I'm working on it. Okay. So Andrew
He's
Jackson,
working
who
on
dramatically
something. What about
shifted
Woodrow
power
Wilson? What
through,
about FDR?
than any
What
other
about-
previous president. If the idea is that shifting power away from,
Yeah.
say, I don't know,
He's
the
gonna
legislature
shine.
through,
He's
I don't
gonna
know,
shine.
emergency powers or executive orders or other ways to try to take away that power, if that's what makes somebody extreme, I think Donald Trump checks that box off when we look at the fact that he's declared, 9 national emergencies already in the past year and a half. When you say that Abraham Lincoln suspended due process rights,
No,
we're seeing where
habeas
this administration
corpus.
has
He
chiseled
suspended
away
the right to
at due
habeas
process
corpus.
rights, namely specifically Abrego Garcia. There was another case in which he deported
Abe
somebody
Lincoln didn't touch Abrego
throughout
Garcia.
the,
What?
in the middle of the evening,
Oh my
trying
God,
to make sure
no.
they get to
Oh, boy.
I think it was El Salvador.
Yes, El Salvador. to
before
the giant
the court had a
tropical
chance to even
prison of
really do anything
Cita,
about it,
El
and they said, no,
Salvador,
turn
yes.
that plane around, and he didn't do so.
The
FDR
judge was
attempted
pulled
to
down by the
permanently
Supreme
reconstruct
Court. The
Supreme
judge
Court.
said that was an illegal
I would
order.
agree with that. The argument
How is
not
Trump
whether
bad
or
for
not
violating an illegal
Trump
order?
Is, and again, the debate prompt
I
is
mean, I'm
Donald
not
Trump's actions are
saying
significantly,
Trump's Jesus,
significantly
but-
more extreme than previous presidents. Not the most extreme, is more extreme than previous presidents. I can simply
100%.
prove where, yeah, sure,
Therein, 100%.
FDR went through and
At
did
least
fundamentally
someone read the
change a lot of
prompt.
different things. He was hailed as a progressive candidate and things of that nature. But I don't think that I would
Why
necessarily
is being
argue or
hailed as a
disagree with you
progressive
on
candidate?
that.
That's a bad
When we talk
argument.
about changing the nature of the Supreme Court, we can look at where Donald Trump himself has said that there are certain Supreme Court justices like Kavanaugh that they need to remember who nominated him. nominated them.
It
so
goes
we talk
on
about
their
that, I think
judge
that's
card,
important
like
as well.
who nominated them.
We talk
and
about
we all
Japanese
watch the
internments.
Supreme Court.
Sure, again,
That's
this
called
goes
the
back to the same
Quorum.
idea as
Japanese
Andrew
co-
Jackson.
the
If
Japanese-
the idea is
The
that
Korematsu
interning U.S.
decision.
citizens,
the
in which
Japanese-
case we have seen U.S. citizens being detained by ICE.
Rodrigo Garcia
and
was
put
not an
into
American
certain,
citizen.
detainment centers. Well, we're seeing that now. So if that's extreme, then Donald Trump checks that box off. And you saying he's not gone far enough on trade or deportations, I would say putting in a blanket tariff globally is pretty
There's no
far.
way- Oh my lord!
And even trying to do so.
I guess this
even
is his
after he
first
was told by
time.
the
I'm
Supreme
gonna
Court
try
that
to be
he
nice.
couldn't, enter IEPA tariffs, and that he tried to find another way around it. in
More
which to do
tariffs.
so.
Yeah, more tariffs.
So that's my rebuttal. Oh, when do I get the opening?
Sure. Yeah. No. Again, if you don't need to use all of the time, we can stop it right there. Once again, I do apologize. Perhaps I wasn't clear
I
enough.
think we all do.
So
Eric.
yeah,
we all say a lot of shit.
and you'll just so you know, Vagine, after his opening, you're going to get 3 minutes to either ask him questions,
Grill his ass.
set up arguments, or again, just even if you want to directly engage with the things he just said, it just gives you both the opportunity to sort of get your thoughts out and not necessarily have to worry about people talking over you. So, anyways,
No.
3 minutes. Oop, wrong button. Sorry, what was that, Vagine?
That's what she said.
No, that actually, I think answered my question right at the end, because I said, or I was gonna say, like, when he's saying these things, am I allowed to say something, or am I just
No, you have to
technically
wait.
here he can either ask you a question or he can just talk back to the things you just said. It's his choice, and you're going to have that same
Gotcha.
control in your cross. So again,
Okay.
I will disappear back into the ether. 3 minutes is now going to go on the clock for you, Andrew. This is your uninterrupted opening. Go ahead and start it up whenever you're ready, sir.
You said Andrew. I think you meant Vince.
Vince, I'm sorry.
No, I know you didn't mix me up with Andrew Wilson.
No, I did not do that. I did not do that. That did not happen. That did not happen. Nope. Sorry.
So wait, you want my opener, right?
Yes, sir. Now it is time for you to do your opening. I apologize, sir.
Okay, got it. So tonight we're debating whether Trump is genuinely more extreme than past presidents. My answer is obviously yes. And I want to be upfront about what I'm not arguing. I'm not saying Trump invented corruption. Nixon weaponized the government against his enemies. Bush blew open the doors on war powers. Obama stretched executive authority further than a lot of people were comfortable
Oh God, ChatGPT
every
is
modern
writing
president
this,
has
isn't
some
it?
scandal, some abuse of power, some conflict of interest throughout their term or outside of their term. Here's what's different. With Trump, all of it is happening at once under one roof. Most presidencies get defined by one scandal, one controversy. People remember for decades. With Trump, stuff that would have ended under other administrations just keep happening. It's not the exception anymore. It's the simple day-to-day life. Now, I already know the counter argument coming. Well, someone did this before too. We've kind of already seen that. And sure, maybe, but picking these apart one at a time misses the actual point. You don't judge a presidency scandal by scandal. You look at the whole picture.
Yeah,
Law
the
enforcement allegedly
cross-examination
aimed at
after
political
the
rivals,
opening statement doesn't quite
independent
make sense.
institutions under
There should be
sustained attack,
mutual cross.
private financial interests tangled up in the presidency in
agree.
ways we haven't really seen before, military authority getting used more aggressively than before, stack all of it up happening simultaneously, and that is where you get that Trump is more extreme. So no, I'm not claiming Trump invented every category of misconduct. I'm saying he took things that used to be scandals, the kind of thing that ends a presidency, and made them routine. If the whole defense boils down to someone else did something similar once, I'd ask, since when does precedent make abuse of power normal? Because if anything, normalizing what we used to call extreme doesn't make it less extreme.
That
All
doesn't
right.
even make
There you
grammatical
go.
sense, but okay.
And yeah, like I said, you don't have to use all of the time. Now I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock for you, Vagine. Poke holes in what he said, respond to what he said, use the time as you see fit. I'll start the clock when you start to talk, man. You are muted.
I'm glad. Oh my god.
I'm glad I'm
Okay.
muted.
So I'm gonna apologize in advance. I am sick, so if the camera and stuff go out, my apologies.
You're good.
Okay, so when you're talking about, okay, so you had made a comment about how,
Right.
well, I've made situations where things have happened once, to look at it as a whole. Okay,
Right.
but when you look at all those other people as a whole, they're still significantly more.
At least he's
extreme
not being like
and
34
worse than
count
anything
felon,
that
mega
you've seen
mushroom
out of
goblet,
Trump.
34 count felon. Well,
The
me.
Sorry, give me a minute.
No, it's fine. Take your time.
Gather yourself.
Um,
Center. Lemon face. Lion face. Everybody gets that reference.
Remember, you can also ask him questions.
Am I allowed to answer when she asks them? I want to be very
Yes.
clear on how this format works.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry. Let's continue.
Has anybody
Thank you.
seen Law and Order? Does anybody know what
Okay,
cross-examination is?
I
What
guess
the hell is
question,
going on?
For you would be, you said that military
Dun,
is
dun,
being
dun.
used more extreme now than it was before. How
You
is
ordered the
military
code
being
red,
used more
didn't
extreme
you?
now than it
You can't
has
handle
been
the
in the
truth.
past?
Cross-examination,
Yeah, sure.
guys. Come
Absolutely.
on.
So when we look at, for example, we've had certainly domestic affairs happen with under Abraham Lincoln. And
I think Bill
other
Clinton had
presidents.
several
Certainly that has
domestic
happened.
affairs
We've seen a
too.
nation divided. I wouldn't go as far to say that that is the most extreme that we've seen under Trump. We haven't had a civil war yet. However, we have seen where he has used it for the rest of the presidents that we have seen, going after, for example, labeling certain groups a terrorist organization in order to say, I'm going to say boom, boom, because I'm used to TikTok language.
Because they're
knock them out
a
of the water.
terrorist organization.
We've seen where he's gone into Venezuela.
The Supreme
and
Court
all of this, by the
upheld
way,
that.
he declares a national emergency to avoid answering to Congress. Iran, for example, instead of going in and spending the 60
Iran is a
days
hot
that he's
mess.
allotted,
Iran is a
he is
hot
now
mess.
claiming that he is in two different fronts. He said that the first front happened, I forgot what the date was, from the opening to now this is a different
From
front.
when
It's a
it
different time
happened
period.
to
So
when
the
it
time clock
now is
starts all
happening.
over
You
again.
know,
That doesn't happen that way.
Potato, tomato.
We've seen where he has kind of postured the military in a way to pretend to do. We've seen where he's talked about using the military to go into Mexico.
Sit up
By
straight,
the way,
military
all
guys.
of this
Posturing the military.
through the guise of national emergencies and labeling certain groups terrorist organizations in order to justify not having to
He
answer to
can't
Congress.
do that. The
I'd say that's pretty
Secretary of
extreme.
State and the DOD
He's not the
has
first
to.
one. Okay, first off,
Oh my God.
let's get one thing clear. What is your definition of extreme? What do you
My
consider-
definition of extreme would be somebody trying to
It's somebody who's extreme.
subvert the separation of powers.
How
My
is
definition
that
of extreme would
a
be
definition of
essentially
extreme?
going
It's much feelings. It's much Trump. It's
dramatically
much
outside
TDS.
of the mean or the median. And I would
So it's
say
much
Trump,
TDS.
and that's why when I look at, we can talk about individual instances in which we have seen different presidents operate within, Nixon.
Okay, Kevin, you got to grill him. What the hell do
anything
you
like
mean
that.
by extreme? Answer. What do
But
you mean
it's
by
the mean,
extreme?
it's the average. And
not,
Trump
it's not much
certainly
TDS.
seems to meet the extremes of that.
The
Outside of that
extremes
average.
of that.
All right, so real quick, I'm going to go ahead and put the 10 minutes on the clock now. This is
Moses.
just open crossfire. Y'all just having a conversation.
Ask him what
Proceed, pick it
extreme
up where
means
you
again.
were, or you can take it a different direction as you see fit. I will jump in whenever the time's
Orange
up. I'll
man,
let you know if we're gonna
smoky
extend it.
man.
Go ahead.
Every
Do you
man.
think Trump is a fascist?
Oh, that's not the way
It
to
depends
go.
on what definition you use of a fascist. Some would argue.
Oh
he
my
is,
God,
some would
that's your
argue he's not.
burden.
It
What
depends on
the
what definition you use for fascism. I don't know if I would necessarily ascribe him to be a fascist.
Ascribe
I haven't looked
him?
too much
You
into it
mean
to give one opinion. one way or
describe him?
another. But
Well,
there's certainly authoritarian.
Sorry,
I would say
Mo
this. I
grammar.
can see this.
Mo
There's certainly
grammar. I
authoritarian like
apologize. Mo
tendencies
grammar.
that Trump has exhibited. Certainly that.
That's authoritarianism. That's not fascism. So if you
Oh.
like fascism, if you're not going by what the actual definition of fascism is, so
Which is what?
do you know what the actual definition of fascism is?
Again, it depends. I believe there's differing
there isn't-
definitions depending
No,
on
there is a definition.
There's the real
There's
or
a-
made up.
There's the real one
well,
and the
which definition are you
proprietary.
getting from where.
She wants the real one. Give her the real one. Give her the
actual
real one.
Definition
actual-
of fascism, which comes from the father of fascism, Gentili.
Yup.
Okay, so
Giovanni
Gentili's definition. That's what I was saying. There's Gentili's definition.
And
You can
there's
go to Merriam-Webster and get their definition as well. But again, I don't know.
Merriam-Webster is
where
not
we're
two
going with this, 'cause
people.
It feels like we're
Why
building
is it
straw
their
man.
definition? Oh my God.
Okay, so would you yourself consider Donald Trump a fascist?
I've already said I don't know where I'm particularly.
So you
on
don't
that
know what you're
particular
talking
issue.
about.
I
Why don't you
know
just
if
pick
I
a
would consider him
point? Like,
fascist.
put your-
However, I would say that he has had certain authoritarian tendencies.
Stop
Authoritarianism. If
copying
you
and
don't
pasting
consider
from
him
Destiny.
a fascist,
Let's just
then
not
he's
copy
not
and paste
extreme.
from Destiny. Come on.
Was
not
Andrew
extreme,
Jackson a
right?
fascist? Was Abraham Lincoln a
Yes.
fascist?
By your definition, yes, he has to be.
So
the whole
it-
point
with-
is if
with
everything's
Trump-
fascist
Trump-
and nothing is
people think
fascist.
he
So
is
like,
a,
oh
what,
man,
extreme right-wing.
she could have
He
got
is
him on this. She could have
little right
hit
to
him
the
right in the
center.
face with this.
He would not be what your definition of fascism would be. And if he's not a fascist, then he's not extreme.
If everything is fascist, then
There are so
nothing
many
is
other
fascist.
wait. But this is confusing to me, because if your argument is that, first of all, an argument that I have not made is that Trump is a fascist. I've not said that. I've laid out numerous instances in
in
which I
fact,
think he's more
you've
extreme.
avoided it on
But even
purpose
if
multiple
using
times.
your own idea that he has to be a fascist to be extreme, Andrew Jackson, would you say Andrew Jackson was a fascist? Abraham
Yes.
Lincoln was a fascist.
By
FDR
your definition that
certainly
you
wasn't
haven't
fascist,
given, he would
nor
have
was he
to
a
be
communist.
necessarily.
What if that's the case? Then you those examples you just laid out go to the wayside.
Oh, he did this wrong. That's a bad argument.
It's for your definition. A lot of people, they consider,
All right,
they talk about Donald Trump being a fascist.
I get it. It's okay.
Okay,
so
so
he's
when you actually look at
she
the
doesn't know.
definition of a
Okay,
fascist,
so she
Donald Trump
doesn't
does
she
not
doesn't
line
know
up
how
with
to.
So considering him something super
Is he
extreme, I
drinking
wouldn't
warm
see-
milk? I think he's drinking
So
warm
and the
milk.
thing is, whether I think that those other people are fascists or not, I think they are more extreme than what Donald Trump.
I'm gonna pause real quick. So here's the problem that's going on here, right? The problem is that she's new, which is fine. She doesn't know quite how to like peg him down on the actual definition. So the thing is that since she's requesting him to define what fascism is, and he's coming back with her saying, "Well, what about Andrew Jackson? What about Woodrow Wilson? What about FDR?" The question is, under your definition, they would all be fascist. So since everything that you don't like is a fascist, then Trump is not a fascist, because you can't, like, either everything is fascism or nothing is fascism. So his argument actually backfires logically, but she hasn't quite gotten her feet under her yet. And this is the first time, which is she's doing okay, but like she can't quite pin that down. And that would have been how I would have gone for it. But hey, we live and learn and love and learn some more.
Ever has been.
So
With past presidents, even in an economic way. So Nixon unilaterally unappended global monetary systems and imposed sweeping tariffs without Congress. Biden utilized the Board of Administration interpretations to attempt forgiving hundreds of billions in student loan debt for executive action. Sorry.
all good. It's all good. I understand it. I have kids, and I totally I totally understand. Go ahead.
Nixon had the 10% import surcharge, trade tariffs, withdrawal from the Paris Agreement. So the thing is, the things that he is doing that people are talking about, this isn't the first time certain things have happened. Immigration's an illegal. So a lot of people, they determine Trump's illegal, or not illegal, the whole ICE movement and stuff like that to be extreme. The funny thing is, when it comes to that, Obama was named what? The deporter in chief. During Trump's first term, he roughly deported 932,000 non-Americans. Combined between his first term and this term, he's at 1.5 million, where at Obama was more than 3 million. He went through excessive measures. He was grabbing people, whether it was out of prisons. He had ICE going after them too. There wasn't anything different that Trump is doing in regards to ICE and stuff like that Obama didn't do himself. And the amount of deportations, Trump had actually
that's not kind of
put out there that people can voluntarily deport themselves and have a potential chance to come back.
So I want to because I want to hit on this. So a couple of
hit
things
on
here.
it.
So in terms
Hit
of
on
what
it,
Trump is
Daddy.
doing
Hit
that's
on it
unique,
good.
With ICE is that he has picked up U.S. citizens. He's also trying to
there's no proof of
send
that.
them to countries that they have no business going to. For example, Roberto Garcia, he got deported to El Salvador. They ended up having to bring him back, and they continue. By the way, this is kind of fitting into my lawfare pillar.
Oh my God!
Where they ended up bringing him back.
We need to stop this
and
argument.
then trying to now deport him out to Africa, where he has no family, no nothing, out to Africa. I don't know an example that he's given about
because mama's
Obama on
empanada
that particular
business.
case. And yes, sure, they called him again. My argument is not that there hasn't been some level of extreme behavior or the deportations that happened in other administrations. But you mentioned something that I thought was really interesting earlier. You said far outside of what people would consider normal to be extreme. Well, I can name a couple of things here. For example, we can look at lawfare. We can look at corruption. We can look at the foreign affairs that have happened in this administration, namely with the lawfare and the corruption. I don't think you can point to any other president that has ever created who's been the plaintiff and the defendant in the January 6th slush fund, in which Donald Trump sued his own IRS, waited till the event happened in 2019, and ended up waiting until he was in office to end up suing his own administration. We also see where he had went in and he ended up doing NVIDIA stocks. He bought stocks, which, by the way, typically it's put into a blind trust.
He can't buy stocks. He's in a blind trust. It's a blind trust. He can't buy a damn Bitcoin. Jesus.
And then he went in with, I believe it was NVIDIA, or no, it's Palantir. He said, go buy Palantir.
So NVIDIA and Palantir, NVIDIA makes chips, Palantir makes surveillance cameras. What are we talking about?
Okay, but we can sit there and dive into other people's too. I didn't sit there and do research on the corruption that is out there or which president is most corrupt. We're talking about the one that is most extreme. So
I would say corruption is pretty extreme, right?
I would say corruption is
corruption. It's not inherently extreme. There's
extreme
extreme corruption and there's soft-core corruption.
Would you say going after your own political opponents would be pretty extreme? If like, for example, I don't know,
hit him with the Obama.
Trying to fire the Fed governor board. What's her name? I don't remember her name.
Nancy Pelosi?
Oh, goodness. Lisa Cook. Do you think firing like Lisa Cook, even though he has no grounds to, and the Supreme Court told them to,
and then he rehired her
because he actually the Supreme Court.
My God,
rulings.
How dare he obey the courts?
Lisa Cook. He's poised to now fire Lisa Cook.
Lincoln waged war on his own people and caused the Civil War. Barack Obama executed actions to bypass the law,
kill American citizens by drone strikes in Turkey.
Yeah, that too. Drone strikes without explicit congressional declarations of war. Woodrow Wilson signed an espionage.
Oh my God! Stop circling. Come on, let the woman talk. Exactly.
Do you think non sequitur? Obama's drone strikes are pretty extreme, huh? Because then, by that metric,
so Obama's a fascist. So there we go.
Trump has now gone around and not received any congressional approval and has depleted a lot of our munitions due to it.
Depleted uranium.
I would say that's pretty extreme to ignore Congress.
She never.
I never said.
She did never say.
Donald Trump's actions and any of the things that he did aren't potentially considered extreme, but most extreme? No. There are plenty of other presidents who are more extreme and have done more extreme things than he has ever done.
I'm not denying that there may be one or two that have done uniquely different actions that are
uniquely different.
Extreme.
Okay, all different actions have to be unique.
And again, we can point to
talking about
a culmination between the lawfare. I just mentioned all those and the corruption and everything else. I would say for each one of the scandals, and like I said in my opening, each scandal you're going to bring up about each one of these individual presidents, Trump has done, which again, it's the culmination that would make him more extreme.
He's not done. He has not taken a bunch of actual Americans prisoners. He's not done that. He's not waged civil war on his own people. He has not gone in forcibly into people's homes and taken away their precious metals and given them paper. So no.
He's called it. You know how the ICE warrants work, right?
What? Those are
we're talking about illegal immigrants. That has nothing to do. They are non-American citizens.
But wait, you understand that they're going into U.S. citizens' homes based on...
No, they aren't.
Okay,
oh my God, so dumb. So dumb.
Over 3 million immigrants that freaking Obama deported, that there wasn't one or two cases of wrongful deportation. Come on. That's actually quite ignorant to think that only Trump and his ICE accidentally deported the wrong people and we're like, oopsie. And yet Obama, when he has done more than half of what Trump has done, had a perfect freaking landslide. Not one person was wrongfully deported. That's ignorant.
Well,
it's not possible.
Again, I don't doubt that there may have been. And again, it's interesting because you're kind of proving my point when you go from Obama, when you go to Lincoln or Jackson, and you're pointing out these individual points. Well, again, I can point to where Donald Trump is going into these individual houses without a judicial warrant. It's an administrative warrant.
That's
warrants.
from
Yes,
a
warrants
from
issued
an
by a
Article
judge.
1 court.
No.
He's not going
It's
in
an
there
Article
willy-nilly.
1 court.
An
Oh my God.
administrative warrant does not require the signature of a judge. It requires.
Yes, it does from an Article 1 judge. Yes, it does from an Article 1 administrative judge.
That is able to
What,
sign
you,
these
you have like
administrative warrants.
monkeys in the
And they end
administrative
up going
branch?
into
Oh
people's
my
homes based
God.
upon
So
that.
dumb. So dumb.
So, and this goes back to, again, even then, okay, deploying the military onto streets. You do realize that Donald Trump deployed the Marine Corps to Los Angeles over the protests last year.
No, it
Remember
was
that?
the Army. It wasn't the Marine Corps. I would have known.
And they actually ruled that it was a violation of posse comitatus.
What?
I'm sorry, say it again.
What was that word you just said?
Posse comitatus.
Yeah, posse
He said
comitatus.
that right.
So essentially what it is that
Do you think he said
the
pussy
president
comitatus?
putting the military onto our streets to do police action
Oh,
is not allowed.
Rule on that too.
and so essentially Donald Trump putting the Marines down into Los Angeles to assist the National Guard to arrest and detain U.S. citizens.
To assist
And there was
the
a
National
famous
Guard.
picture I
Oh.
remember last year
A
where
famous
the
picture.
Marine Corps actually had
Oh, who
put
knew?
handcuffs onto a U.S. citizen.
That's not true.
And they had to take that to
That's
court. And I believe
not
it was
true.
God, I don't remember. if it
God,
was
I
a
wish I
district
knew what I
court
was
or
talking
whatnot.
about, but I don't.
But one
Son
of the
a
courts
bitch.
ended up ruling that it was a violation of posse comitatus.
What
You
about
can't
the
violate-
BLM LA riots?
You can't
Restoring
violate
order when
Posse
cities were in
comitatus is a
chaos.
principle. It's an ideal. Posse
Yeah, there was
comitatus is a
prosecution. There was prosecutions for
You
it.
can't
A lot of the
violate
states, there was
something that's just an
numerous
ideal. It's a
prosecutions
freaking Latin
given
term that
by,
means like the
especially
peace of the
in
people.
LA,
What
New
the
York.
hell?
I think there was the tune
Moses.
of thousands of arrests, and there was actually hundreds. I think to the tune of 900 felony arrests for that.
Huh?
All right. Well, what about the
How
U.S.
about
Patriot
some-
Act? George W. Bush. Just
George
6 weeks after
W.
the
Bush.
September 11th terrorist attacks, he overhauled existing privacy and surveillance laws, granting enforcement sweeping new authorities, which went against the Fourth
I just
Amendment.
don't like
It allowed
how
them
it-
to search, surveillance, and use data without traditional warrants and standard probable cause. It also went against the First Amendment, which put gag orders and attached to national security letters prohibiting citizens and organizations from speaking out or challenging
I
the
don't like how
request.
she reads.
which,
don't read.
you know,
don't
the full free
teleprompter.
speech
Don't
thing.
teleprompter.
What about
You're
Obama
smart.
and his Fast
You're a
and
smart
Furious?
lady. You can
You
figure
remember
this
that
out. You don't
whole
have to
botched
read. You don't
undercover
have to
law
read. You
enforcement
don't have to
operation
read.
conducted by the Phoenix Law Division? The ATF permitted
The
over
Phoenix Law
2,000
Division? That sounds
firearms
gross.
to be sold by straw buyers. They lost 1,400 of them because they didn't have proper GPS because their batteries died. And they didn't have enough proper people who were actually on the ground monitoring these things. 150 people over plus whatever of Americans and United States citizens died because of these weapons that were put out there from Obama. And the funny thing is, then in June 2012, that's a date.
2012. 2012.
Eric Holder refused to hand over internal DOJ documents asserting executive privilege invoked by President Obama. So he gave him the hush hush.
What
Or-
about
What about the prohibition?
Well, wait, hold
What
on.
about
So let's
what are we
pause
talking
there for a
about?
second, okay?
Okay.
You do see the deep irony in Obama not handing or Eric Holder not handing over those documents when, again, and this is what I mentioned, for every example you provide, I'm going to provide one where Trump is doing the same exact thing, where Trump's former personal defense attorney, Todd Blanche, is refusing to hand
That's
over
not a
the
thing.
complete Epstein files. Like literally, it's a law, and he has refused to hand over all of them. And he's actually gone. There's recent. No, I think. How much is our time do we have left? Because I keep seeing that timer going down.
All right.
Technically, the time is out. I was going to let y'all finish your thoughts, though.
So
So
it's okay. I'm done on my thoughts. Yeah, I was gonna
All
say the
right.
Epstein files in which Todd Blanche ignored it. I mean, that's pretty much it.
yeah, no worries, no worries. All right, so I'm actually going to do things a little bit different. We're going to change up the order. Normally, we would go through your closings and then we would go to the Q&A. Instead, I think we're going to try and do the Q&A first, if that
Oh.
is all right with everybody, and then I'll let you guys.
He's
do
changing
your
up the order.
closings
I'm not
afterwards.
100% sure. Okay, so
Perhaps
this
it
is
might
going to make it a bit
Give you
longer.
guys some
So you
inspirations
probably got
or
10,
ideas
15 minutes.
for your closings as well.
You probably got 10 or 15 minutes.
If I'm not mistaken,
Totally cool.
I think that's actually the way we used to do it, and hopefully the judges are ready. But it did also dawn on me that we didn't get the chance earlier to introduce our fine and illustrious judges before beyond me just tipping my hat to them. Confluence, sir, you first. I'm going to drop your link in chat. Would you please tell everybody who you are, what you're about, and where they find you?
Well, thank you, Horace. I am Confluence. You can find me on YouTube at Confluence358. I host open panels every day. They are oftentimes chaotic about politics, religion, culture, etc. And I'm Happy to be
Okay,
here.
let's see if I can figure this
Fantastic.
out.
And Ancom, sir, I know you don't stream very much, although I did actually see you on
Ancom is a G.
on your Angry Fogies stream earlier. Would you please tell everybody also who you are, what you're about, and where they can find you? I'm dropping your chat link as well.
You have a chat link. That's cool.
You are muted, my friend.
Of course I am. Yeah, I'm Ancom Psycom. I like Star Trek. I like science. I like politics. I'm an anarchist and a communist, and people make fun of me for those things all the time, and I don't care. Anyways, yeah.
Good for you, man.
I enjoy talking about political ideas. I enjoy people going back and forth about these things and learning other people's perspectives on these very complex topics.
Jesus
So
Christ,
that's why
my
I'm
bad.
here.
My bad.
See, there you go. And yeah, our judges. I always try to keep the judges fair and balanced. We've got a religious person who is conservative, and we have a non-religious person who is a communist,
Who is unconservative.
Again,
Just say it. Just say it the right way. I'm a filthy communist. Okay.
a filthy atheist, God-hating.
But
communist.
at least
Is
he
that better?
bathed today,
All right,
probably.
so-
I'm guessing
all
he
right,
bathed
so
today. He looks groomed.
We're going to go
Well
through
groomed.
and
Not
I'm going to
groomed
ask.
like that.
Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to let you guys ask the questions first if you're ready. Each of y'all give one question to each of the two debaters. We'll start with Vagine, and then I will go third. Confluence, you have a question ready for Vagine?
I do, in fact.
Right.
Vagine. So in a lot of your opening, right, you were bringing up extreme things that kind of old presidents have done, and then in the back and forth, then you did bring up like the Fast and Furious with Obama and the drone strikes and stuff. But I guess if we narrow the scope a little bit to like presidents in like the more modern age, do you think any of them are actually more extreme? So I know you've said examples of like what Obama did, but do you actually think that's
All
a
right,
more
sorry.
extreme?
Let's try and get the
thing
link
than
shared out to some other
Trump
people.
has
So I'm
done?
back now. Let's go, boys and girls and ladies.
Yeah,
And
feel free to put
okay,
a
yeah,
little bit
exactly.
more on there. Yeah, pull that apart a
Yeah,
little.
can
If
you
you
put
want.
want
more
anarchy,
meat
you
on
want
the bones?
communism.
Like what? Can you if this was because your opening I think was
See,
strong with like Andrew Jackson. Like
you
look back
actually
at people,
you
had
actually
me- had
haven't
me
niched
there. I'm like,
that
yeah, okay,
much.
these
They were
people
just
have done more
talking
extreme
past
stuff.
each other.
But
And he's like,
yeah,
well, what
just
about
in
Andrew
terms of,
Abrego
like, the modern
Garcia?
scope,
What about
you kind of lay out in a
and
few
what about
sentences
Trump
maybe on
like not
why you
making the
think
planes
that
turn
Obama
back?
or
The
whoever
Supreme
you
Court
would
ruled
say
in
is
his
more
favor.
extreme than Trump.
Well, okay,
Or
with
maybe
Obama,
just moronic.
I think with the whole
Maybe-
the Fast
maybe
and
not
Furious
even
thing,
Oxy.
he literally
Maybe
put
not even
his
Oxy,
own
maybe
citizens
well
and
moronic.
neighboring
It's hard
country
to say.
citizens in jeopardy and at risk, and unfortunately died because of his actions with that. Then again,
Died? He was killed.
also, like I had mentioned, also
mean
with
died?
the deportations, he has
He
done
was killed.
significantly more. He went a lot harder than Trump ever went. He deported tons of people.
I don't think like the amount of people deported is the level of extreme we're trying to talk about. Like I don't think that's how that
and
works.
The drone strikes. Okay, hold on. I've
And-
never done this before. Work with me here.
And
You are fine.
and drone strikes.
I
just don't think
That's a
I
fine
don't.
answer, by the way.
Yeah,
if you're
yeah, no,
done
that's
there, fine.
sufficient. You answered the question. Ancom, do you have a question for Vagine?
To be fair.
Yeah. So I would like you to tell me I would like you to name a president who you believe is less extreme than Donald Trump.
There we go. That's a good question.
Sorry, on my end, you're super glitchy.
Yes.
I think you said
Oh.
name a president that's less extreme than Donald Trump.
Right? It's a
Correct.
civil process.
Yeah, sorry.
You're
Is
100%
anyone
right.
else getting me as
Nope.
glitchy?
No, you're
I
fine.
just want to make sure. No? Okay.
Just
Yeah.
me,
So I
me,
would
I'm
like you to
100%
name
right.
I would like you to name a president that you believe is less extreme than Donald Trump.
Jimmy Carter, come on. Jesus.
Let me
Jimmy
think.
Carter. Jimmy effing Carter.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm Canadian. I don't know. I did
Oh,
research just for
To be
this.
fair.
I was actually going to make that caveat and let everybody know. Not only is this her first official, or her first, structured debate like this, but she's also Canadian, arguing an American-centric prompt. So, props to you for it, and we appreciate the effort. So, let me try and frame this same question. I think it's going to be the same sort of question that Ancom was trying to get at. Can you describe to me what sort of behaviors would have to happen for Donald Trump
Clinton,
to
Jimmy
be
Carter?
considered? Like,
And
what is your
exactly.
actual method of
George
measurement.
fucking Washington.
What would a president
Abraham.
have to do?
I mean, it's
What would Trump have to do
John Adams,
to be
John Quincy
significantly
Adams,
more
Thomas
extreme in
Jefferson,
your
George
mind?
Washington.
Well, I
Like,
mean, for one, that's something more than the norm. If you look at
Garfield?
presidents from the past,
not the cap, the
and
president.
then you
Garfield.
look at things that Trump is doing right now, clearly it's not outside of the norm. So
Truman.
it wouldn't be considered extreme.
Pick a president. Pick a president who didn't suspend habeas corpus and have the Civil War.
Personally, if his actions have resulted on what everybody was fearing before, a world war and a war
Justin
on
Trudeau.
America
Wait, that's your prime minister, and
stuff like
he's
that, and
more of a
lots of
fascist than
people
Trump.
die.
100%.
I would
No,
definitely
you're right.
consider
You're right.
that.
Right. How about
more
George
extreme and
Washington?
careless. I think the way that he's been doing things so far have been
How about Justin Trudeau?
pretty-
Wait, not president, but close.
bland, but also kosher.
Bland but kosher.
Okay.
That
Good
describes.
All right, Confluence. Vince is up. Do you have a question? I had to stop and make sure I was saying the right name. Do you have a question ready for Vince as well?
We need a new restaurant. It's bland.
Yeah, so Vince, this is
Eat at
maybe a
Arby's.
bit of
We
a
have the
inverse
meats,
of the
and it's
question
bland,
I asked
but maybe
Eugene,
kosher.
Eugene. But so you're in your kind of opener, you're kind of presenting a confluence of things.
He said the thing.
Name drop.
That Trump has done that you think makes him bad. You're saying it's not any one thing. You give a list of examples of stuff that you think is the most
Every
extreme.
time he
So I
says
guess I'm
confluence,
curious,
we have to take a
is there
shot.
one thing that would compare to the stuff that Andrew Jackson has done, or the internments, the Japanese? Like, is it for you? Is
FDR,
it purely
Korematsu
just
decision, yeah.
all these factors in
Fascism.
totem, or is there one thing that you think, yeah, what this thing that Trump did is more extreme than anything else in other presidents?
That couldn't be. He didn't intern Japanese.
Well, so that's kind of the hard part, right? Like, because for example, like has Donald Trump initiated a civil war? No, right? So like, is there anything that's more extreme than that?
Civil war.
Obviously
The
not,
government's
right?
the government. Somebody else has to
And this is
initiate
where,
it.
like,
What
again,
the
I
hell?
think that
So
Trump
dumb.
got kind of lost in the weeds, because it's not about, is Donald Trump the most extreme U.S. president? Rather, is he more extreme than previous presidents? And more would mean that he's outside of that mean. And
More would mean greater than.
he's the most. It doesn't
Not
mean
equal
that he
to,
is,
but greater than.
oversaw a civil war.
Oversaw a civil war? That's an
culmination.
odd
Even
choice of
Even
words.
in that one example I just mentioned, I can mention how Abraham Lincoln oversaw the Civil War, or Andrew Jackson, for example, in turn, or dramatically shifted power, or FDR with interning Japanese Americans. Again, it's the culmination of all of the similar things. Obviously, Trump is detaining U.S. citizens. He's putting them with getting wrapped up into ICE. We've seen where Donald Trump has initiated an extreme amount of national emergencies to kind of consolidate that power away from the legislature. So that is what sets him outside of the mean, which makes him more extreme than previous presidents. I don't know if there's necessarily one that I could point to. Maybe you could point to the violation of war powers resolutions, where he's trying to essentially go around Congress, and U.S. Americans have lost their lives. I think it's like 18. You could probably point to that, but it's difficult to say the most. I don't know if there's one here that would trump all that. No pun intended, if that makes sense.
And you said the thing too.
No, thank you.
All right, Ancom, a question for Vince, please, sir.
Yeah. So one.
Sorry, I had to
that
hop back in the
didn't hear
chat over
either
there.
person bring
Okay.
up, and I'm
right.
curious because the way the question is worded, you're actually kind of more on making the positive claim. So it's about being significantly more extreme. Obviously, we've heard Vagine give examples of previous presidents and their extreme actions.
Every time I
So I'm
hear
looking
the word
for
Virginia,
you
I
to
hope somebody here has
explain
seen Borat.
If we look at all of
and
those
understands
previous
what
actions
the
by
word
other
Vagine,
presidents
I
that were
just
considered
can't believe
extreme,
that nobody's using
what
the
makes
Borat
what
accent
Trump is doing
to say
significantly more extreme?
Yeah, so we have our outliers, right? I would argue that Andrew Jackson or FDR even maybe fit on those outskirts of those things. But we can look at more modern day presidents where, for example, Obama got accused of lawfare. Joe Biden got accused of lawfare. When we look at Donald Trump,
got accused of
he's taking
lawfare.
actions that are outside of that norm, in which we've seen with Letitia James going after her twice, or sorry, going after her once
For the mortgage fraud?
Donald
Because
Trump
she
going
committed
after
mortgage
Lisa
fraud.
Cook twice, where we've seen him going after James Comey, right?
For
We can point to that. We can look at the sheer amount of corruption. The J6 slush fund, that's pretty extreme. So we can look at modern
How about the
presidents.
J6 prosecutions?
Bush,
Those are pretty
you know,
extreme.
the Patriot Act. Okay, great. Well, we just had where
Patriot Act.
Anthony Fauci ended up getting his phone records subpoenaed, or not subpoenaed. He ended up they got access to his government phone
Because it's a government phone.
It's
It's a
so there are
government
numerous
fucking
instances
document.
in our modern day presidents, we can think of Nixon, the Nixon corruption scandal, right? Again, a singular issue that would be considered extreme in the modern era that almost got Nixon impeached. But we're seeing where Trump is going out and saying, hey, I have stock in NVIDIA, or I have a friend who donated like Dell
You
to
can't
my
have
Trump,
stock in
my
NVIDIA
Trump
because
cloud accounts.
all
And
of
now
your
I'm saying go out and
investments are
buy
in
a Dell
blind
computer 5
trust.
times.
So dumb.
So is he
dumb.
the most extreme to compare to Andrew Jackson or FDR, whoever you want to point to? No, but is he more?
Hey Jason, hey
extreme
buddy, how you
or
doing, brother? Good to
significantly
see you
more
again.
extreme than any president in
I was
say,
working
previous
on
modern
this,
history?
so I couldn't
would
help
argue
troll the
yes.
cat, the lol cow.
All right. And my turn. So they're all going to kind of piggyback, and it's going to kind of
Dude,
feel like you're
last
picking
night
up where
I
you
was
just
on
left off. But
Speakeasy, man. I was on
sort of a
Speakeasy
different framing
debating
of it.
about. Oh, you meant.
I
you
have,
meant that.
among other
in.
people,
I'm
to
an
be clear,
entertainer.
I
I'm
did
not
not vote
Cedric,
for
but I am
Trump,
an entertainer. How you
but
doing,
I
brother? It's
also
great to see you.
didn't
It's
vote
great to see you.
for his opponents.
We're gonna tomorrow. We gotta go milk that lol
A lot
cow.
of people
that lol
watched
cow.
the way that Donald Trump was treated, both when he was in office the first time and immediately following when he left office the first time. And a lot of people saw an escalation, and there was reason to believe that what Donald Trump is doing now is just a step up based on the things that have been done to him, such as the illegal surveillance that was taking place of Donald Trump during his campaign, such as the Letitia James and all of the other lawsuits, et cetera, et cetera. So again, can you just make a case putting to bed the idea that Donald Trump's current behaviors are just the logical escalation based on the way he was treated?
Oh, really? Man.
Yeah. So if you're talking about, well, so here's the thing: is you're saying the logical escalation of it.
Oh,
if
man.
that was a bad thing, or if that was an extreme thing that Obama did with the surveillance and everything else like that, or Biden with the lawfare, necessarily Trump going after, say, not even just, and to be very clear, for every one instance you might find where they, tapped into his phones or whatever the theory or fact may be, we can point to the congruence or confluence, whatever, of Letitia James, James Comey, Mark Kelly, Don Lemon. People forget about that one. Don Lemon got swept up into that, by the way.
What you mean? He was out
we've also
there. He
seen
was
that
out
he's
there in
gone
a
after
church
Mark Kelly in the
violating.
Seditious Six, and said even more
my
extreme, which I actually, I'm glad. Damn,
34
I'm glad
count felon. 34
More
count
extreme
felon.
was
Brian.
what Trump thought of the punishment should be for Mark
what
Kelly.
the Sigma.
Namely, that it is treason and that it is punishable by unaliving. I say unaliving because of TikTok. That is what Trump said.
No, it's
And
not.
not just that. He then
This guy
tried
is
to
like Team Luke
prosecute-
Kmart, Brian Schaap. He came
And
with a
I
hat.
could be wrong on this, but I think Mark Kelly might have
Order
been the one
yourself
where
a
they ended up
newsboy hat.
someone was unable to do it or didn't
And
want to
hold
do
my
it,
beer.
and so they replaced them with Lindsay Halligan, or maybe it might have been James Comey. I forget
No,
the two because
Lindsay
Trump always went after
Halligan
his
was
political
the. Oh
opponents.
my
Sorry, I
God,
had to
so
deal with that.
dumb.
So
Lindsay Halligan
I don't think
was
that
the
for the one instance you
state
have,
attorney in
or
Virginia.
Trump going after Fauci, trying to find a way around the
By
party.
the rules
There
of
are
the court in Virginia,
numerous
you
instances
need
that are just
justices
more than just
of
a
the
simple
Supreme Court of
escalation.
Virginia to confirm
This
her
is Trump
appointment
trying to
if it
punish
goes over
every
6
bit of his
months.
political opponents that that
Nobody
speaks out
confirmed her
against
because
him.
the Democrats took
Stuff
control of
that's new.
Virginia,
Mark Kelly
so
wasn't
that she
going- I
couldn't be
don't- well, Mark Kelly was
affirmatively
part of the
appointed,
J6.
but she
I
was
think
still
Mark Kelly was
entitled
part
to
of
do
the
all
J6
of that.
But nonetheless, spoke up against
I
Donald
know,
Trump.
right?
Don Lemon spoke up against Donald Trump. Donald Trump going
I'm
after
so hoping he
media
says mushroom
organizations,
gobbler. I can't wait.
right?
Come on. Somebody
You could
drop
say it's
mushroom
an
gobbler in
escalation,
the
but
chat.
that's almost like saying, well, hey, Trump had one case against him and he went full scorched earth against anybody and
I'm gonna put it in the chat.
everybody that he can find. I would think that's pretty extreme. Just sit there and go, well, now I'm just going to go full scorched earth, full, doesn't matter, collateral. And I'm going to take it even a step further where I've actually put some action into place to actually prosecute these individuals.
All right. Cheers. All right. So good stuff. Thanks, y'all. I did see at least one question come into the tip jar. It's not really a question.
If I had a bunch of money
I just
in my
wanted to say that
tip account,
apparently
I would
Testes
ask
thinks
him if
that
he's a
Trump
mega
is the
mushroom gobbler.
fattest president minus Taft.
And Garfield,
for what it's worth,
Garfield was
Yeah,
also
someone
fat.
forgot about Grover Cleveland.
Yeah,
Yep.
fair enough. And I mean, if we're gonna be real, I was impressed that Teddy Roosevelt's horse could handle it sometimes, especially towards
That's
the
what
end.
she said.
So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and go through our closings now. 3 minutes is going to go on the clock for you, Vagine, first. This is uninterrupted time for you to put your final thoughts. Use as much of the time as you want, and I will start the clock when you start to talk, man. Take your time. And you are muted.
Okay. I know. I
Yep.
did that specifically so you wouldn't start the time. Okay. So in closing, for one, I'm just going to say that you repeatedly conceded. You said that he wasn't the most extreme, and more extreme, most extreme, no matter on how you want to actually word it. If he's more extreme than the past presidents, that would make him most extreme. It's just being pedantic. It's just using the word in a different way.
I don't know if you
Either
can...
way, the statement still stands. I don't feel like he is more extreme than others. You had mentioned about the Fauci thing, which is actually kind of interesting because Biden is the one that actually granted him immunity. And then what was his trial?
I don't know if you can read my chats down there, but I just literally chatted them. I
plead the fifth. It literally we turned it into a drinking game.
Let's go all out and call her a MAGA mushroom gobbler at Team Brian Shapiro. Can we get a fun going to buy this guy and use him
that immunity? You look at past presidents again. So even the Coolidge, when you had the prohibition mandate. So according to President Calvin Coolidge, they had manufacturers double the concentration of toxic additives.
Let's go,
to 10% wood alcohol alongside chemicals like kerosene and formaldehyde. The intention wasn't actually to unalive people. However, more than 10,000 people were unalived due to this, and other significant thousands
you're on YouTube. You can say killed. It's okay to say
when
killed.
The president actually found out about this, that these were the things that were happening, it's not like he decided to stop it. He let it keep going.
That is true.
So he was intentionally.
Oh my God.
You might not have started.
Has anyone ever seen the movie Rockadoodle? Where like the owls, like the evil owls?
She looks and he
like her wings look like that evil owl.
So the thing
and there was that funny
that
little owl that was like Uncle Dookie,
American
Uncle
history,
Dookie.
whether it's something that is something.
That guy was funny.
More,
but she looks like the owl, like the king owl. Who was like gonna eat the
we go
boy cat man thing.
He's not more extreme than other presidents that have out there. It's not Trump hasn't done anything that is outside the norm. You have when he was president or even before.
He is president.
Have you ever seen anybody else have this many assassination attempts put on them? When Trump was president, you had Kathy Griffin, who was literally holding up a decapitated head of his, pretending it was him.
Fucking Macbeth did the same. They held up Macbeth's head too.
Literally a thing. Everybody was
Macduff held up Macbeth's head too.
You don't see that with other presidents.
See, I was thinking that.
When you talk about him kind of backlashing and going against other people who were saying
I have a theory. Apparently, I've gotten word from reliable sources.
But was it more extreme than what
Coco
these past presidents
is going to get
done?
himself a microphone and actually hop on. And I was saying that I think that when
Coco great way to land a plane.
It's going to be.
And now we're going to go ahead and put the 3 minutes on the clock for you, Vince. This is your uninterrupted closing. So go ahead and
sounds like Mr. Rogers meets.
Yeah, sure. So
Mr. Rogers meets.
First of all, I did concede that he is.
Yeah. Apparently, I have on good
ever had.
On good information,
and we
that
got
Coco is going to get a microphone.
Pedantic argument about what is fascism when I didn't even make the claim.
Or maybe he's Brian Shapiro. It's hard to say, but
and I think
Mr. Rogers meets
is different than most. Most means he is
Bob Ross. Mr. Rogers meets Bob Ross,
right?
but he's going to have a voice recorder.
A vocoder be like
from
the meme. And I think we can see we're down from deviating. Now you mentioned that he is not Biden granted him immunity in terms
that's
of
why the quickest way to make you a Fed is you're calling everybody else a Fed.
two reasons.
Remember
why
when
Biden gave him
Ace
his
came in
pardon,
the other
and
day?
second,
It was
that
like
pardon was
talking
only
shit
up
to
to
Coco, and he's like, Fed.
Secondly,
I'm like,
why he was also
the
pleading
quickest
the
sign
fifth
of being
is
a
because
Fed is calling people
after
a
they
Fed.
did that, guess what they did? They recommended him for contempt of congressional proceedings to the Trump DOJ. Trump,
They
again,
recommended
former personal
him
defense
for
attorney. Can't find
contempt of.
I don't know if you have
think that's
another
called a
president out there
recommendation.
that's ever had their
I think there's a
personal
word for
defense
it.
attorney sitting.
There's a word
as
for
the
it. It's
new
not called a
AG or acting
recommendation.
AG. You talked about Coolidge. Oh, that's what I was referring him to that. Well, guess what? Fauci can be charged for those crimes. He absolutely should have pled the fifth because of that particular reason.
Oh my
Pardons
God,
do not
so
cover
dumb. No,
the
so
pardon
dumb. So
would
dumb.
not cover the contempt of court because it's outside of that scope. Anyways,
It's not
the
court. It's
10,000 people that
contempt
were
of
unalived,
Congress. Oh
due
my
to college
God.
and Coolidge, sorry, rather. We can look again where Donald Trump has weakened our EPA guidelines.
Wait, we can look at
understand-
Ken, like
and
the
I
guy
don't know
from
how many-
Barbie?
No, granted, have 10,000 people been allowed? Again, no, I don't think so, but still he's weakened that. And we can also look at where Donald Trump has denied disaster aid to certain Democratic states. And by the way, it's been recently revealed that he's done so explicitly because they ended up voting for Kamala Harris.
What
Also,
disaster?
we talk about
Like, what are we
more recent-
talking?
he's,
What disaster are we
more- not
talking
recent-
about?
Not more extreme than other presidents. Do you blame him?
Like
Yeah, I blame him.
the
'Cause he's the one
anti-ice
doing these
riots, no
actions.
King's
I
protest.
have never seen. I would
What
love
the
for you to
Sigma?
show me where Donald Trump or where any other president has explicitly called for a sitting U.S. senator to be charged with treason and what that punishment ought to be. You go
He
look for it
didn't say
yourself.
that.
I don't know if any
He
other
didn't
president's
say
ever done that before.
Oh Lord.
Again, we can go through this entire list where Donald Trump has deviated from that norm, and you can't find any other president who's done such. Where Donald Trump, for example, has gone undone. Any other president who has sued their own administrative agency, namely the IRS. Show me another president who's done so. There's a deviation from
Hey,
the
I
norm.
appreciate you, brother.
Where any
God
other
bless,
president
man.
who has bought into stocks and then
My
told
sister's up
people
next.
to go
If you
buy
wanna-
that same
if you
stock he
wanna-
had.
If you
You
want
can't
to
find
listen
that.
to my
That's
sister,
a deviation from the norm. We can look
she's
at
a
where
wild,
Donald
she's
Trump.
a wildcat.
Now,
She's
there have
coming
been
up next after
authorized
this
use of
is over.
military actions that they've gone through Congress.
Nightwisher.
that
She
you
goes
can't
by
find.
Nightwisher.
At least maybe
She's
I'm
a
not
good
aware
one.
of this of any other president who has sat
But
there
I
and
try
gone
like
outside of the
opposite
60-day
people,
window to
but
continue
it'll be
an
fun.
unnecessary.
I'm here for
Or any
I'm here for
or any other president who
to
has
see what the
gone
fuck
after
happens.
all these
Actually,
other
to be
national
honest.
emergencies. It just doesn't exist. He deviates from the norm, and that's what makes Donald Trump more significantly more extreme.
Have fun, Jason. Hey, love you, brother. Love you.
All right. So there we go. That is our first debate in the can. Great job to both of y'all. I want to repeat,
Don't say the
first
can.
timers for both of y'all, and for Vagine, this is her first time at an actual formal debate like this. Vince, you can tell, has definitely done this a time or two. And again, Vagine is not an American, so discussing American politics is already a bit of a stream. But that said, we're not here to give people concessions. We're here to give people votes. So I am putting in the chat right now the straw poll link. Click that link. You'll be able to go and vote for which debater you think made the most compelling case. Again, who brought the arguments? Who was the most persuasive? Not just who you agreed with, not just who you already liked or any of that stuff. Okay? Costs you nothing. Click that link. Give us a vote. And while we do that, I would like to remind you, this is our affirmative Vagine machine, and that is the number one. And number two in that poll is the Vince Wilson show, our negative side debater. Now, I'm going to go through and I'm actually going to have our judges respond while you guys are voting. So you have until the judges have finished rendering their judgment to get your votes locked in. Real quick, I'm going to go ahead and message that to you, Vagine, and to you as well. Vince 1, and there you go. I will send it to you as well, sir. Yep.
Train wreck.
Does anybody else need me to send them the link to the vote for you to put into your chat? Is that everybody? All right, good stuff.
About putting it in my chat, but yeah.
Much chat.
No worries. Yeah. Again, like I said, yeah, grab it, throw it in your chat, get everybody to vote. And while we do, let's go to our judges. Judges, so I had Confluence ask questions first. Ancom, are you ready to render judgment first, sir?
Yes.
All right, Ancom, where'd you come down on this and why? For everybody out there, the way that we do this, 10 points total to distribute as the judges see fit. It can be 10-0 or 5-5 or anywhere in between. And they're going to do this, again, based on rhetoric, based on skill, et cetera, et cetera. So, Ancom, lay it on us.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the lead here. My score was 3-7 toward the negative. I generally think Vince brought the more convincing arguments. He stuck to the prompt better. Unfortunately, this was a case where the pedantry mattered because the claim that Trump is not the most extreme president isn't the prompt. The prompt is that he's not significantly more extreme. It is possible to have a most extreme president not be Donald Trump, but Trump still be more extreme than the average. And I think that is the argument that Vince brought, and that is the argument that I think won this.
Just happened.
Okay.
God
so that
save
is
us
3-7 for the negative from ANCOM. Confluence, are you ready, sir?
I am, and I will bury the lead.
You'll bury the lead. Don't bury the lead, bro.
I thought this was a strong opening. I'm glad that you brought up the historical examples. We already kind of talked about it, but the Andrew Jackson stuff, shifting power to the executive branch, ignoring SCOTUS decisions, the FDR stuff with the
Lion.
I thought Vince did good in cross, and so I thought there was a good discussion to be had there. Vince's opener, I think, was good. He did kind of build that it's not just one thing, it's all of these things. And I think that's a fair direction to take things. I think Vagine didn't do so well when she was cross-examining. She kind of let Vince run the show a little bit. Okay, sorry, my notes are a little scattered here. Then we get into the meat of it all. Yeah, the fascism thing, I think, was a distraction. I mean, there is multiple definitions. If you're using Paxton or Griffin or Echo or whatever his name is, or just a dictionary definition, or Gentile, there's a lot of stuff. And those, as I think Vince correctly pointed out, you could be an extreme communist. You could be an extreme anything. Like, just because you're a fascist or not a fascist doesn't really mean much. Overall, I'll kind of cut to the chase a little bit. The last thing I want to say is I think that Vince really handled the Q&A well. And there was the question specifically to you, Vagine, from ANCOM.
What?
You didn't have an answer to, but I understand you're Canadian and stuff like that. So
and
I get
stuff
that,
like
I
that.
think Vince fielded those questions very well. And so I do want to say, I'm glad both of you were here. And Vagine, it's your first time, and I think Vince is a hard opponent to be matched with on a first debate. So I think you deserve props for going up against him. I think you did a good job, but I would give this 2-8 in favor of Vince.
2-8. All right. So what that means, chat, is that unfortunately, just like in the American voting system, your votes are kind of useless and mean nothing except for show. But I still want to see where you guys landed. So please click the link. Tell us who you think made the most compelling case. However, at this point, we do know that our winner is the Vince Wilson show. So I do want to parrot what they were saying there, Vagine. Great job for your first try. This is not an easy game to play, and the way we do it with the structure and stuff, I hope that you enjoyed it, at least the ability to most people aren't used to, especially on the internet space, having the clock like that, and also not having somebody like interrupt you, right? So usually people are fucking yelling at each other, talking over each other, and they don't actually get the chance to get their full thoughts out. So I hope, at least from that perspective, you enjoyed yourself, and we will absolutely be inviting you back again. Please keep answering the prompts, and please keep coming back. So with that, also Vince, yeah, absolutely. Give me 1 second, Vince. I just want to say great job tonight, and you definitely are going to take the win. But I am going to look and see if this was a 3-0 or if this was a 2-1 split decision. So chatters, get those last locks in. What were you going to say now? I think that was you, Compliments.
No, I was.
Oh, that was you, Vince. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
it was me. No, I wanted to say no. I really appreciate Vision Machine coming on, and I really do appreciate the debate. I look at all debates like an MMA match. We're gonna throw gloves. We're gonna kind of, might come out with a little bit of blood streaking down our lip, from a mean upper hook or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're gonna shake hands and say, hey, good job. I want to commend you for taking that position. I think that I think you did a great job. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate being on here and given the opportunity to do this. It was definitely very different than what I'm used to, but it was a lot of fun. And Andrew, oh my God, Steve said
Andrew,
messed me up. Vince, I'm sorry. You did great. You really did.
That's
Thank you.
hilarious.
And yeah, so that was Vince Wilson's link right there in the chat, and I'm going to drop Vagine's in the chat as well. And now, real quick, before
Why
we
can't
move on to our
somebody
next
say
debate, let's
Vagine
check
like they're
and see
Borat?
what the results
I
were.
don't even
Looks like we got a pretty good
understand,
turnout, so
how
that's
did
badass.
nobody
Glad to see
take
you guys
that
are actually
right
out there
look,
taking part. So 3, 2, 1, and
Give him the
well,
old
there you
college
go.
try. Give him the
So
old
we had a
upper hook.
2-1 split decision. The chat went for Vagine with a 6-4 win.
Can
So
somebody
63% to
somebody say Vagine like
36%.
Borat, please?
So we round that out to
she's
make
the
it the
number 2
same
prostitute in all of
style as the
Kazakhstan. She
judges.
has a loose
So that is
vagine.
6-4 in favor
Come
of
on,
Vagine
somebody.
from the
Come on.
audience. Yay. All right. So at least the people love you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. So again, as I mentioned to y'all ahead of time, this is both y'all's first time. You're welcome and encouraged to hang out with us. If you're streaming live, you can just mute yourself and shit talk all the other debaters while they're debating.
Smells like a fish
and then whenever we get to the after party, we go through each of the prompts for 30 minutes with everybody discussing it. So you get to shit talk the other people. They get to jump on your prompt, so on and so forth.
It's really,
really
little
fun.
sister's
But
up
you
next.
do not
I
have to
hope
stick
she-
around if you can't. I appreciate y'all being here.
Nightwisher
Let's
is my
go.
little sister.
All right. So our
Let's
second
go.
debate of the night, people. Again, so we have Alley Cat has been here before. He actually was a guest judge, but it seems that he is having a little bit of technology problems. So bear with me for just 1 second while we do this.
The whole thing is hilarious. Remember that the Aristocats
Sorry,
movie,
give me
right?
1 second. Give me
Few
1
separate
second.
cases, something spacey.
Add
Thomas
one. There we
O'Malley,
go.
the Alley
So
Cat.
that is going to be our Alley Cat. But he is here with audio. So we're going to go ahead and get into that now. Our two debaters for our second prompt. And
Brian
I'm
can
actually
have
going to
it.
need to hear your mic just to make sure that everything is coming through.
Actually,
all right.
I'll donate the cap to Baby
Is your
Brian.
mic working?
To Baby
Alley
Brian.
Cat?
I'm here. It looks like it's working.
All right. Cheers.
Yes.
And
I think that's
first
Coco.
up,
I think that's Coco.
Nightwisher. Our prompt is going to be: poverty in America is a sign of exploitation.
I think that's Coco.
Nightwisher, please tell everybody who you are, what you're about, and
Sounds
where
like
they
a
can
Coco to
find
me.
you.
Hi, I'm Nightwisher.
Don't say
I
your
don't
name.
know,
Don't say your name.
really.
Don't say your name.
I'm
Don't
here.
say
My
your
brother
name.
suggested I do this, so I'm mostly here
It's my
for
fault
his
now.
entertainment.
It's my fault now. Fuck
Um,
my life. It's not my
I hope
fault.
it's
You
fine.
wanted to do this.
All right,
Jesus
cheers.
Christ.
Real quick, so you just since she brought it up, this everybody is Loodle Miss's sister. Again, so we're gonna say go check out Loodle Miss if you want to hear more from Nightwisher. Okay. And then
Little Miss.
over here to Alley Cat, sir, please tell us who you are, what you're about, and where they can find you. I don't think you stream either.
Oh.
So
Thank God you didn't
No,
say
I
your
don't. I'm
name.
just an old man with strong opinions and a busted head. So this should be a
That's
good one.
a
Hopefully
great-
we'll get into some fun
You're
stuff.
debating a
strong
20-something mother
opinions and a
of
busted
3.
head. That's about as American
And
as you can get.
you're-
All right. So
Name-
y'all got
okay.
the chance to
That's
see how
for
that
your
last one
house.
went. So you have a pretty good idea of how the system works. 3 minutes is going to be uninterrupted openings.
You
Then
can't
each
make
of
this
you
shit up.
after
You
that will
cannot make
get
this shit up.
a 3-minute cross-examination or rebuttal. You can kind of use the time as you want to.
Little Miss
I will
has
go ahead
entered
and
the
start
chat.
this off to you, Nightwisher. Please tell everybody why you believe
But the best,
that poverty in America is
the
a
best
sign
intro
of
is Alex Jones
exploitation.
being like,
I'll
"Well,
start the
I'm
clock
kind
when
of
you start to
retarded." That was like his version.
Really,
of
I
saying,
believe
"I'm kinda
that
retarded."
poverty anywhere is kind of a sign of exploitation. But specifically in America, the
say unless, sis.
exploitation
Say
of
unless,
the past
sis.
has heavily influenced the poverty of today.
Sis, we worked on this. Say unless.
So when we're looking at the map of exploitation, say in the Deep South, it heavily coincides with the map of poverty.
Mention redlining.
So
mention
when we look
redlining.
at,
Mention
like, the
redlining.
Mississippi Delta, where the poverty is between 30% and 40%, the cotton and tobacco belts, where poverty is around 30%,
I'll love me some tobacco though.
and South Texas, where poverty is between like 23% and 30%. Those are all places that had heavy exploitation of resources and people throughout history.
Stop saying Stop setting off.
And then for more like just the exploitation that's going on for present day,
redlining.
renting market and the housing
Thank you.
market.
Get to redlining.
Where
Get to redlining.
in poorer neighborhoods specifically, landlords will make about double than what they will make in affluent areas due to the low property values, but being able to charge rent at a higher rate. As well as wage theft at about
redlining.
per
You
year,
need to say
with only
redlining
2% of that being reimbursed to people, and then aid distribution with like housing subsidies going from about 240 billion to 300 billion to housing subsidies, and only about 63 billion for low-income housing assistance, which would all gear towards the exploitation of the poor for the rich.
All right. So, again, as I did mention, you do not need to use all of the time. We will stop whenever you are ready. I try to read the cues, but if I interrupt you too soon, just let me know. All right, so 3 minutes is on the clock now for you, Alley Cat. You know what to do with it, brother. Go ahead and cross-examine, rebut, or use it as you see fit. I'll start the clock when you start to talk.
Sure. Can we start with what you would mean by a sign?
Huh?
I'm sorry, what?
What would you mean by a sign?
Like a stop
Like,
sign?
how would you
a yield
define what a
sign?
sign is?
What do you mean a sign? I don't.
Well, that's kind of what I'm asking you. So, like I would look at a sign as like a positive correlation.
I'm confused as what you mean by a sign because I didn't mention a sign.
Well,
He's
that's
using
the
the
debate prompt. That poverty is a sign of exploitation.
Okay. Sorry, I was completely different word in was what I was hearing.
Oh, fair enough. That's fine. So is that safe? A positive correlation?
I would argue yes, it's a safe positive correlation.
Okay. And how are you measuring poverty? I noticed that you're using very specific, very focused results, like basically a couple areas that you had mentioned. Is that all you have, or are you looking at different trends?
I'm measuring specifically like below the poverty line.
Okay, which poverty line are you talking about? Like U.S. Census?
The U.S. Census poverty line.
Okay, sure. Do you know what consumption poverty is?
Yes.
Okay, have you looked at the measures for that?
By consumption poverty, do you mean like the Oh my God.
Okay, well, go get into it. That's fine. I just was wondering if you knew. And then last, I guess we can talk about is what you would mean by exploitation.
So,
we have to define terms. Yep.
Exploitation such as low wage labor or slavery. The exploitation for specifically like the renting market would be higher cost than the property value.
Redlining
for landlords.
So exploitation means profit. I mean, so I guess the question I'm having, does someone have to gain?
No, people don't have to necessarily gain for there to be exploitation. However, because we're talking about poverty, I would argue yes. For this argument. But when I'm talking about, for sure, go.
Oh no, I'm just. You're about to mention it. I'm like trying to understand. If exploitation doesn't mean somebody's exploiting them, then who's to gain? Like, I mean, I don't.
The
it
government.
Doesn't make sense
that's the
to
point.
Me.
Well, I guess it depends on what you mean by gain. Do you mean monetary? Specific, because that's what I mean by this specific
Don't
debate.
go into what you mean by gain.
Yeah, monetary is
so
fine.
Then yes.
Okay, we're good.
All right. Then in that case, we're going to go ahead and go over to your opening now. 3 minutes is on the clock for you, Alley Cat, uninterrupted. We'll start the clock when you start to talk.
Sure. I'd like to start by basically quoting several versions of statistics for the poverty level. The first level would be, first of all, we hadn't really measured poverty because it was based on income
85%.
Until 1963. But if we look at the work of, and I'm willing to provide resource necessary, of Patrick Smalley and Everhouse and Riley, they estimated back from 1914 to 1958. They had estimated the poverty level in 1914 for the entire United States was 66%, and it came down to in 1958 to 24. If we look at the U.S. Census, which is the one she went out of normal poverty or of what's called wage poverty, or like basically income-based poverty, which is, the poverty line of how much money you make. It was in 1963, it was 19.5%. Today, it is 11.8. If you look at what's called consumption poverty, which this is basically measured on what people spend. Right. So the problem you have with income poverty is not everybody's poverty comes from, not everybody's income comes from necessarily wages. Like they could have side hustles, they could have transfers from the government. So one way to measure poverty is how much do people spend every year? And that would be consumption poverty. And that went based on 2015 standard of 62.4% in 1963 down to 10.8% in 2020.
Child. Jesus.
And so what I'm trying to get here is that if we look at it, that poverty has gone down constantly. And yet her argument is that exploitation is going up. And so if we sit there and looked at that the measure is a positive correlation, this isn't happening. Poverty is going down, and yet somehow exploitation is going up. That doesn't seem like a sign at all to me. It seems like the exact opposite of what a sign would be. So that would be the interesting thing to look at is that how are we actually measuring exploitation? And if it's going up, then how is that possible with poverty coming down? I'm sorry, I'll see the time.
No worries. Okay. Yeah, it's always easier if you guys let me know when you're done, but you don't always have to. Again, I try to read the cues. It's a fun part of the game. All right, so 3 minutes is now.
I tried to give a big pause.
Yep, I appreciate it. 3 minutes is now on the clock. Nightwisher, again, this is your time to control as you see fit.
It's a distraction tactic.
You can poke holes in his arguments. You can ask him questions to set up your own arguments, or you can just respond directly to what he said. I'll start the clock when you start.
Don't look directly at the hourglass. Do not look directly at the hourglass.
I think there might have been some confusion on what I meant. But with you saying that exploitation is going up, because that's not what I'm saying. I think it would be an asinine argument to say that exploitation is worse today than when it was in slavery. I'm saying that there is a direct correlation between exploitation and poverty that you can draw a line through with
it is
historical areas, like geographically, right? Between the places where there was slavery and heavy exploitation,
redlining, and now you will say redlining. Damn it, didn't work.
And I wouldn't say that just because there is, say, less percentage-wise of poverty today, that doesn't mean that exploitation and poverty aren't intrinsically linked.
You can exploit 1% of the people. You can exploit 65% of the people.
The way
it doesn't really
the
quite
system
matter.
Impacts lower income people and helps higher.
You're not wrong.
Financial classes.
Wait, I scuffed what?
That's really all I have to say.
Please clarify.
Well, remember, you can also ask questions.
Ask questions, man.
Right. Sorry.
Ask questions, sis. Come on, kiddo. Ask questions. I said her name. I'm bad. I'm a bad guy.
I'm curious why the date in which they started recording.
Wait, hang on. We can do this. We can
poverty would matter.
Because that's when Congress decided to put in laws to enact poverty restrictions.
Wait,
so that's when they started.
Thank God he did restrictions. That's when Congress.
Well, yeah, I'm wondering why that matters to whether or not exploitation is happening
laws to enact poverty.
I was just trying to show statistics based from the U.S. government as well as other studies done.
I prepped her, and she's used like number prep. It's not my fault.
I gave 3 different measures. They all went down. I guess is my point.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't necessarily mean things going down. Doesn't mean exploitation is still happening.
I will bet you money
cause of poverty.
that she also blames me.
Okay, we'll get into that.
She will also. Oh.
Yeah, happily.
I don't think
All right.
happily is the right
Well,
word.
if you guys are done with that, then we're going to go ahead and just roll straight into the full crossfire. It's 10 minutes going on the clock. Again, at the end of the 10 minutes, just keep an eye on the clock.
Her father,
if it's still going and the chat agrees and they want more, I'm going to put another 5 minutes on it. Otherwise, I'll jump in when we get to the time. Y'all pick it up where you were, take it somewhere else. The floor is yours.
Hey, who Opal Squala is?
So when I talked in the cross, you were saying exploitation, somebody has to gain, correct?
That's fair. Huh?
Yeah, I would argue that when it comes to finances, absolutely.
Okay, if somebody is not working, how does anybody gain from that?
What?
Well, they still have to pay
to live.
That's not what exploitation is. Sure, everybody has to pay for a living, but that's not exploitation. Somebody has to gain. Who is gaining from people not working?
So
exactly. Or just like any woman, good or bad.
Nobody gains, right? We all lose when people aren't working. Like the whole idea would be to have everybody work and everybody contribute to society. People who are not working
slavery, exploitation,
by definition, nobody's gaining from them. That's the exact opposite. And the thing that we can look at with the poverty numbers, that less than 4% of the people who are in poverty are actually fully employed. So the majority of the people in poverty are the ones not working, and they're not being exploited because they're not working.
Can you show me that statistic?
Sure.
We can't see your picture
because
your hourglass is a statistic. We'll keep going with that.
Let me get it.
We can't see it
Go
anyways.
ahead.
You have an
hourglass. As much until
I
find it.
What the F is going on?
No, I'm just trying to work through it.
Just start singing a song.
I have an auditory processing disorder.
Charging my attack.
Fair enough.
Charging my attack. Charging my attack. Strengthen your privacy with GoDuckGo. Thank you, Horseradish. Hope you're getting paid for the advertisement you're not mean to put on the screen.
So I'm just trying to see how, because you're very specifically talking about people who don't work.
So it's about 4.7 people are fully employed who are not working. And so we can look at this at exactly what the U.S. poverty figures are in 2026, right?
Okay.
Sure. Do you know those? Do you know what it takes? Do you know what the poverty lines for 2026 are? For one person, it's $15,960. If they made $8 an hour, they're no longer in poverty, right? The minimum wage is $7.25. Right now? So even if this person, so anything over 8, that person working full time is not in poverty. If there are 2 people, a couple, they only have the poverty line for 2 people is $21,640, which is about $11 an hour. So 2 people making $7.25 is $14.50. That's over the poverty line. So this is the whole point. If you are working even at minimum wage in a full-time job, you are basically over the poverty line.
Okay,
that's how the statistic works.
The exploitation of why people might need to stay into poverty because they're not getting the proper assistance that they need.
You're right.
Or
that's okay. So that's where I wanted to deal with consumption poverty. So that's the thing with consumption poverty. Right. And so the whole point that makes it even worse. Like you saw the sharp decline in consumption poverty since 1963. It's even worse at that point. The fact that these people are not only over the financial poverty limit, they're qualifying for benefits that put them way over the poverty line. So they're not in poverty. So the people that are working are not in poverty. And the prompt is those in poverty are the sign of exploitation. But the people that are in poverty are the ones that are not working. They can't be exploited.
The people in poverty, specifically the lowest income wages, are the ones who are also getting the highest wage theft. So
no, that's not true either.
Yes,
right?
It is.
Like, no, it isn't. So if they're making $8 an hour and they have some of their overtime stolen, that's a lot less of an impact than somebody that makes $20 an hour and has their overtime stolen, right?
No, because that's not the argument I'm making. I'm arguing that wage theft impacts. They go after people who are making significantly less, especially those who immigrants and those who are making far less because they can't get the proper legal. They can exploit that system.
Okay, so is what you're talking? Well, okay, first of all, the whole problem is that wage theft is illegal, right?
No,
like the ones that you just described. No, and so if those people were prosecuted, then all of a sudden wage theft would be go down.
But they're not being prosecuted. They're not being prosecuted.
So why not?
Yep.
Because no one's going after them because they don't have the money. They're being exploited.
Lawyers work on consignment, right? Like, so if there's a strong enough case where somebody is making millions of dollars off of wage theft, you don't think a greedy lawyer is going to be there to collect his 33%?
Except he's saying less.
Why would somebody even want to put in that time when
because they're collecting they might not even have the time off of millions of dollars?
Because Stockholm syndrome. Because Stockholm syndrome.
Okay, maybe because only 3% is ever actually reimbursed to the people.
So
I don't know why exactly that is. That's just the number.
Stockholm syndrome.
Okay, well, I mean, but the problem that we're still running into is that the people that have wage theft are the ones that are working, and those aren't the people that are in poverty. That's the problem that you're still having to overcome.
No, that's not even a problem. What?
Okay, I can.
No, don't concede. Don't concede it, son of a monkey. Don't concede.
4% of the people who are full-time working are in poverty.
Don't concede. No. That's not how this works.
Right? I mean, if you want to go full Marxist,
there you go. Yes.
Are you a Marxist, by the way? Okay. No. Are you a full Marxist? Okay.
Not a full Marxist. No, I don't.
Stop.
Okay. So I mean, because like that might make sense, but even that goes against your. It's like with Marxism, it's exploiting the workers, but that's the whole point. They have to be working.
Hey, bro,
right?
how you doing?
So again, so here's my question to you about like the historical map. If you are okay with this shift, because, or do you want to stay on?
Sure. No. That's fine.
Because I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
But like when you go into like the historical line of poverty, is that not a clear indication that exploitation has an intrinsic link to poverty?
No, because you're talking about something that happened 100 years ago.
No, I'm talking about the impact. Yeah, so I'm talking about the impact of exploitation
of something
that continues to cause poverty,
like
160 years ago. Right? So the idea
I don't understand why how long ago happens when we can still see the poverty impact, the exploitation impact on the poverty.
That is
because
true.
Wealth doesn't survive 3 generations. Like this whole idea that you're sitting there saying that today's poverty is caused by something that happened 160 years ago seems a little far-fetched.
Then why do the maps over like coincide so well?
Sister, ask about the Jews. Ask about the Jews.
Do you think that entire part of the map is just not working?
What?
I would say that that
Google
map
Maps,
is
like the Google Maps
2% of the whole, and so you're taking an outlier and trying to compare it to the like. I guess the whole can you
think the entire
is there something about poverty? Can you name something about poverty that isn't signal exploitation? Right? I mean. As I said, if sign is a positive correlation, it no longer exists, right? You're picking out maybe again 2% of the landmass of the United States and saying, oh well, this is a positive correlation.
You think the Deep South is only 2% of?
Can I grant you 5% and then makes the argument better?
The percentage doesn't matter. I was just curious.
Right, that's my point.
Isn't relevant, but
I
was just curious.
There are other people that are
outliers if it's not a third.
It's an outlier. There are plenty of other people that have been poor and in poverty, and we're not seeing that was a symbol of exploitation. There's no correlation here. If there's anything, it's a negative correlation.
Well, I can definitely, I can agree to an extent that like, disabled people, right, who aren't working because of their disability,
fuck, I think it is.
Could possibly not be being exploited. I would argue that the fact that they can't have more than $2,000 in their savings could be a form of exploitation because they're not allowed to build up safety to protect themselves.
Okay. I mean, is there a way to look at this from another way? It's like the person who isn't working and collecting benefits, it may be seen as that they're exploiting everyone else.
Well,
Can we look at it that way?
They're getting far less benefits than people of the upper class. Like I said, they're getting about 63 billion of the lower class, whereas housing subsidies and the benefits going to upper class people is
not wrong.
240 billion on the low side.
On the low side,
we are $2 trillion in debt every year, and the majority of that is distributive programs.
Okay,
right?
Can you show that it's the distribution to the people in poverty? That's the problem, and not distributing to
there's a good point with that.
Corporations.
Well, but you were the one that brought up everybody else, right? So I'm just looking big picture from that perspective. You know what? It's like you're like, oh well. For the positive side, we can see that very little is given to the poor, but a lot is given to the rich. And then somehow when I say that that's an issue with our federal government being insolvent, that now all of a sudden the rich don't matter and all I have to care about is the poor, like it seems like a double standard here.
I'm not saying that the rich don't matter and all we have to care about is the poor. I'm just saying that if you're going to argue about exploitation and poverty, then shouldn't it be the other way around where we're helping the people in poverty with more money than we are?
I think we definitely are. The social programs, that's exactly what they're designed to do.
But we spend significantly less on those.
In what ways?
Then what?
Like Medicare, Medicaid,
Medicare,
Social Security?
So the number that I'm working with considers Medicaid, SNAP, housing assistance, and we use about 65 billion a year on that.
7 billion.
Housing subsidies, Social Security. Social Security is added to that too. Social Security for
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's $2 trillion spent on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid alone. And how do you get 64 billion from that?
The article that I have.
Okay, I don't think that they're counting numbers very well.
Okay, and maybe that's true.
I can show the national.
How do you not count numbers well?
So being over $2 trillion.
But it being $2 trillion doesn't mean it's actually being used. All of it.
Well,
we have,
or not well. What the hell?
So
we wouldn't be in debt if it wasn't. I mean, that's the whole point.
Well, that's not true.
So.
Wait, what?
I mean, it's fine. Okay,
no, please continue. No, you go.
I guess I'm like trying to figure out a way to work past this because, like, you know, the ideas behind what exploitation is could potentially look like I was going to go into the fact that every person on the planet is born into poverty. Like that's a reality that no human comes onto this planet that is not in poverty.
Well, no, that's not how I would say, because then you're just talking about like personal wealth instead of like. So I think that's an odd argument.
What is poverty?
Oh my God! Should we define this so that you already defined it? What the hell?
The ability to live without just the constant stress of where my next meal is coming from. Am I going to pay rent? Am I going to be able to pay my bills?
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, Vigi's.
Is it what child born have that?
No, but I'm also saying that it's not. But they're also not worrying about bills. They're not worrying about.
Well, they're given everything,
where rent's
right?
Gonna come.
They're given everything.
Oh my God! So often.
They also.
Sure. But that's the whole point. Everyone is born into poverty. There's only four ways to actually have anything. Somebody must give it to you. You must make it yourself. You can trade for it, or you can steal it. Children are given everything that they're given. So if the family is in poverty, the child is in poverty. And as I said, every child is born into poverty, and they rely on their parents to give them wealth.
Wait,
correct?
The child rely on the parents
I don't understand.
wealth?
So we're talking about the ways to get out of poverty.
Okay.
Okay.
No, we're not.
So
We're talking
they
about
have to be
exploitation.
given something, they have to work for it, they have to trade for it, or they have to steal it.
Okay, so again, this
Right?
goes into my argument of like, if those are the only ways to get out of poverty, are you arguing then Deep South just isn't working? That they should be stealing?
Oh, that's
that they-
racist. How about the Jews?
If they're still in poverty, like I think you were mentioning levels up to 30%,
How
which
about
is
the Jews?
40 times the national 40 times the national average.
Oh, sorry,
4 times the
sorry.
national average is basically what you're saying.
Right,
that's not working.
Now.
I mean, there's definitely something wrong with that. But
so
to
you
attribute
believe
that
40% of the Mississippi Delta is just not working.
I'm gonna sit in the black chair.
They just don't have
mommy.
jobs.
I'll sit in the black chair.
Yes.
What's dirty in my chat? There ain't no dirty in the chat. What the hell?
Okay.
right? I mean, I think. Well, we've already shown that, like even empirically,
Yes.
if you're a single person and you're making $8 an hour and you're working full time, you're by definition not in poverty. Right? So show me that they're working.
Okay, do you want me to pull up? Am I allowed to just like pull up the thing right now?
Yeah, you're allowed to
go
pull
for
up, as long as you don't pull up a spinning hourglass.
I will even pause the clock real quick with this last little bit. If you want to give me the link, I can bring it up on screen for you guys. I was actually just looking up Mississippi unemployment statistics as y'all were talking. So,
Told you.
it would help if I could read.
It would help if you could listen to.
All right. So this statistic, this article that I have right here from the U.S. Commissions of Civil Rights.
You guys are great. You guys are fucking great.
So this states
It's my dad's fault. How I didn't? She's not my daughter. She's my sister. What the hell?
real quick, while you're pulling that up, I just want to let you guys know that I did pull up the statistics for 2026, January through June. The unemployment rate in the state of Mississippi is. It looks like somewhere around 3.6 to 3.8%. Although there is also unemployment. There's a difference between unemployment and unemployment rate. And I don't really know what the difference is based on this U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So if you guys want to tell me. Go ahead.
Sure. So the trouble that you get with unemployment statistics is that after 6 months of not having a job, you are no longer considered unemployed. You're considered out of the workforce.
Y'all are fucking
right? And she specifically quoted the River Valley. So this wouldn't cover all of Mississippi.
Define River Valley.
No, that's what I was looking at. Very specifically the Delta.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So we need figures that are more more tuned to what she's getting at, and two, we need to it's basically called labor force participation rate. That's basically the amount of people working versus the amount of people not working. I believe the national average is somewhere around, is it 42% from last time I looked? I'd have to look that up. Which is interesting because it's basically saying about 58% of the people in the United States don't work, but that seems a little, it's more obvious than it sounds because you got to take into account children, the elderly, people who have never worked, like stay-at-home moms, things like that. So it's not as big of a figure as you might think.
I was going to say labor force participation rate only measures the percentage of people in working age, which is considered 18 to 65 who are actively working. So it does not include children, nor does it include retirees.
And, for what it's worth, real quick, I was going to say that I'm also having troubles specifically. So when you're saying the Mississippi Delta area, that's the area around Gulfport, Biloxi, and I'm not finding specific labor stats for that region. So if you guys can find one, cool. If not, I'm just going to let it go back. So
that's fine. I'm willing to stand on my thing that the numbers don't lie. $8 an hour is over.
Don't stand on your thing. You'll get bruised. Don't do it.
Minimum wage requirements.
If your
horseradish, you might look
your
up
thing is big enough to
unemployment
stand
by
on,
county
don't do it. It'll get
in
rid of it.
Mississippi. That'll
Cheers.
give you a better idea.
Thank you. Continue.
Okay, yeah, if you we can stand on that for sure.
Don't stand on the thing. Don't stand on the thing.
I'm not conceding. I'm going to stand where I stand too.
Okay, and I'm just going to go at the fact that the math doesn't apply. $8 an hour is over the poverty line.
Okay, but I mean, if
what the fuck is he doing?
So,
is he like?
Is it okay if I change my definition?
Is he hitting a bomb?
Let me just switch up the entire thing.
Oh Lord.
I don't think that doesn't mean that there's not exploitation happening, and that
we can talk about exploitation, but again, the whole idea is that if you're not working, you're not being exploited.
Why? Yes.
I mean, by definition,
by
nobody is
not
gaining.
working, you are literally being exploited.
We would have to talk about.
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily
the national
All right,
average is 4%.
let's go. Hit him in the face.
On
hit him in the
like
face.
Social
No,
Security.
there's not.
There's taxes on Social Security.
Is there? Okay, I mean, that's actually interesting. If it is, that would be honestly everybody out here.
But
if they remove taxes on Social Security, I'm all for it.
I'm like
that's a surprise to me. It seems I really don't like when the government gives you money and then they tax the money they give you. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But
That is exploitation. That is exploitation.
Fact check this: if your income exceeds $25,000 for individuals or $32K for married couples filing jointly, you do pay federal income taxes on Social Security benefit.
Okay, so over 25,000. But again, we can go back over what the I think 33,000 is for a family of 4 to be in the poverty line, and the stat you just said, I believe it's less than that.
All right, so real quick, I'm going to go ahead and jump on in there. We have gotten past our actual allotted time. I did add y'all the 5 minutes, and we're past that anyway. So. We're going to go ahead and go to our judge questions, and that'll give you guys a couple of minutes to kind of gather your thoughts as well and get prepared for your closings. Chat, remember, throw a couple bucks in the tip jar. You can scroll up and you'll see the little thing to click, and I will ask your questions as well whenever we're done. But Ancom, since you were fact checking anyway, I hope that you have a question. I'll have you go first. Do you have a question for Nightwisher?
Yes. Okay. Sorry. I wasn't sure who you were going to ask about first. So Nightwisher, what I would like to know from you is, can you think of a cause for poverty that does not involve exploitation?
Thank you.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, I would agree that people who just like aren't working and are poor, yes, absolutely, that'd be a cause for poverty without exploitation.
Facts.
I've heard a few stories of people who like genuinely just want to be poor. I like people who genuinely just want to go like couch surfing and like live poor. That's not exploitation.
Okay. All right. Confluence, a question for Nightwisher.
Man? Oh, sorry.
No, sir. Question for Confluence. I'm sorry. Question from Confluence for Nightwisher. Yes, I've got a question for you later, buddy.
All right. Ask me anything, Nightwisher. Okay, so
where do you get your hair done?
In Canada.
But
in Canada. Okay, so maybe this has been said, but I kind of want to, I guess, know for sure. Do you think that all poverty is a sign of exploitation? Because I think you had a good case connecting the historicity of untowardness in the past with current poverty now. But if you looked at, like, say, another country and you see poverty happening, for you, is that definitionally a sign of exploitation? Or is it just in America, because of the historical stuff that's happened, you're connecting that? Or are you kind of taking a more like, anytime you see a wealth disparity, you would call that exploitation to some degree?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I do think that exploitation happens to the poor more readily than other classes. But that doesn't necessarily mean that all poverty is caused by exploitation. No.
Okay, follow up then. Is your am I allowed to follow up?
Yeah, of course you are, buddy. Go
You're
ahead.
a judge. You can follow up.
Okay,
What are you
so,
talking about?
Yeah, I guess in America then, is that like is your main kind of thrust then like stuff like racism and stuff? Is that what you would say?
More
Or is
racism.
there, like,
More racism.
Is that your strongest argument of that?
Redlining.
Poverty is a sign or an indication of exploitation?
Is racism?
Yeah, like historic injustices dealing with racism, stuff like that.
Not just racism, but I would say historical injustices and historical exploitation is a large cause of poverty.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to try and with my question, I'm going to take us a little bit outside of the prompt here, because we do keep mentioning that the prompt specifically says in America. So my question to you, Nightwisher,
Not wrong.
do
Not
you
wrong.
think that poverty in other countries is also a result of or indicative of exploitation? Or
Yes,
is it
I am-
sometimes
yes, I am
perhaps just
shouting
a
and
lack of
screaming.
access to resources?
I am shouting
if
and
it's the
screaming.
latter,
and Chapingro
how do we know
is
it's not the
right,
same
but
here in
I
America?
am.
I can ask
Well,
that
see,
again if you need me to. but
That's
you-
the
you
answer.
got it,
Yes,
go.
I am chatting.
I appreciate it.
and
No, I mean
screaming.
that's one of the things I was
I
trying to get
am also
across
half
with
retarded. Yes, I am.
the argument I was making.
I should probably
about,
stop doing that. I should just
the
talk.
exploitation of
instead of
not just people
typing.
but also resources in the Deep South.
I am
I'd argue
so
it's very
dumb.
similar
I am
in
so dumb.
Africa and places like that. Now, again, that doesn't
So
necessarily
dumb.
mean
I am
that
so
all
dumb.
poverty is caused by the exploitation. There are going to be just resource poor places. Like, that's just a fact. So no, not all poverty or resource poor, consumption poor, all of it is going to be caused by, that wasn't the right word. But no, not all poverty is going to be caused by exploitation of resources or.
All right, cheers. Income. A question for Alley Cat, please.
Yeah. This may end up being a multi-part question, so just bear with me here. Alley Cat, are you aware that the way in which the poverty line is calculated in the U.S. has not been updated since its inception?
Bullshit. It's updated every year. It's based on inflation, right? They have an inflation adjustment. It's adjusted every year. I can show you poverty lines from every year up until this year, and they've all been different.
That's not what I asked. That is not what I asked. The way it's calculated has not been changed, as in the way they do the calculations based on inflation. The reason I ask this is because the original poverty line calculation,
I think we can use this as like a. I know, right?
The
About
largest
anything.
line item
Oh,
in
no, you
an
didn't
average
suck.
household
Miriam,
budget.
Miriam, you
Has
you
changed
did not suck.
in the
You didn't suck.
50 years since.
You had a bunch of opportunities to
such
put the
that
dagger
housing
in, and you
has
didn't
now
put the
become the
dagger
largest
in.
line item, and yet they still use the same
You're good,
calculation
kid.
metric.
You're good,
The
kid.
point of my question is, you keep saying that someone making $8 an hour full time is above the poverty line. Can you think of a reason besides poverty itself going down that the poverty line would show fewer and fewer poor people?
Oh, sure. There's plenty of reasons why it's so unfair. We're getting much more productive as a society. We're lifting people out of poverty every day.
That's definitely Coco.
Like, I mean, like, it's obvious that the poverty line could.
I'm asking if you can think of a reason other than actual poverty going down that this metric might be showing that.
This metric might be showing that.
This metric
As
might
in
be showing that.
Yeah. Would you accept the idea that it is in the government's interest to show a steadily decreasing amount of poverty in the statistics by massaging the numbers, by not modifying the not modifying the way the calculation is done so that it shows fewer poor people without that actually being the case? That's what I'm trying to get through here.
Yeah, I'm totally confused. Your first proposition was that they haven't changed the way it's measured in over 60 years. And now you're asking me that you're saying that the government now changes it in order to make it look worse.
No, I'm saying they're intentionally not changing it, is my claim.
I don't understand what the point of that is.
Oh, there she is.
You don't understand what the point of a government wanting to show its poverty level steadily going down, even though they're not?
What basis do you say that it's not? Right? It's actually, the poverty line increases every year due to inflation, right? The poverty line goes up and up every single year. And it's a flexed amount. So the fact that more and poorer people are going below that or getting above that line despite it increasing is somehow something that the government manipulating numbers. I'm not sure I understand what you're getting at.
What consequences?
Yeah,
I think I've got the question I wanted to answer.
We got the answer that we were looking for. It looks like Confluence has left the building, so I will go ahead and go next, and then he can bring up the rear. So my question:
bring up the rear.
You used the term I was actually not familiar with, the consumption poverty. My understanding from what you described was that it is poverty that is based, or that the poverty levels are decided or gauged based on spending. My question to you though is, do you think that in the modern day, we know that the modern day is more depressed than it was historically, right? That we in a modern America are generally not as happy as we used to be. We can argue about why that is. However, my point being, do we agree that just because somebody doesn't know how to spend their money frugally or properly, that does not necessarily indicate that they are not in poverty? If I am making stupid spending decisions to give myself that endorphin blast, spending more money on magic cards than I probably should be, and instead not investing in my retirement, like, I still have the same low income, I'm just spending my money in a bad way. Would that not kind of screw the numbers with your consumption
Don't screw
poverty?
the numbers. Never screw the numbers.
It's not how it's measured. I mean, we can get into more of that in the after party.
Sure.
But basically the idea is that the problem with income-based poverty is it's only based on the income that's reported.
That's
And
why
the
it's called
argument is that not all
income-based
income
poverty.
is reported,
Oh
not just side hustles and behind the things type of stuff, but just the fact like government transfers are also not included in the income-based poverty. So if you have like a family of four, a man and a wife and two children, and they're earning $25,000 a year combined, right? But then they get an extra $20,000 a year from the government. They're spending $45,000 a year, right? And that's what it's measuring, how much they're actually spending every year.
No, yeah, right.
I got you.
Sorry.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm chatting.
And Confluence, a question for Alley Cat, sir.
All right, Alley Cat, where's my question? There we go. So I guess similar to the question I asked Nightwisher, I guess, because this is the point that I really thought was maybe the strongest. Can you contend with the connection that she's making between historically exploited areas and current day poverty? I understand that you're saying poverty rates have gotten better, but there obviously seems to be, unless you're denying it, some connection between areas that were previously exploited and current day poverty. Would you deny a causative link there? Or if not,
yes.
How is that not an indication? Oh,
you deny it? Okay, well, that's weird.
Totally, because we're talking about data that's 160 years old, right? Like, there are many reasons why those areas could still be depressed that didn't have to do with exploitation from the Civil War, the slave era. Right. So it's on her to show that there's a direct cause behind it. But when it's basically two outliers in the entire nation, I don't see the positive correlation there.
I guess if I can ask you a follow-up, in the areas that there is a correlation, I understand correlation isn't causation, and you don't have to, the burden of proof isn't on you to do this, but I'm just curious, do you have an alternate hypothesis? If we know that there was historical exploitation, it leads to this wealth disparity, more poverty, what's the alternate explanation that you find more?
The alternate explanation is that business and industries that made those areas great no longer exist in America.
Thank you.
All right, cool. All right, so now we're going to get to our closing arguments. So one more time, this is 3 minutes uninterrupted from each of you. We're going to go through Nightwisher first and then Alley Cat again. So Nightwisher, This is your time, uninterrupted. Give us your closing thoughts. I'll start the clock when you start to talk, ma'am.
Really, my closing thoughts are, again, going back to the exploitation of resources and the people in the Deep South. Those industries don't exist anymore because they destroyed the area. They stripped it of its resources. They no longer needed it anymore. So they left it in ruin. On top of that, the exploitation of the poor to keep them poor through, again, wage theft, through higher renting, through lower wages, but then higher consumption, right? Not being paid the value of the labor that they put into the market. While poverty in and of itself is not entirely caused by exploitation, I do think there is an intrinsic tie between the exploitation of area and people creating poverty. And
love you, Pookie. Love you, baby girl.
Low. And I do think that something I didn't bring up and probably should have, that class mobility is one of those signs as well.
All right. And now we're going over to you, Alley Cat. 3 minutes is on the clock for you, sir. Put a cherry on top.
So, okay. So where I'd like to start is, again, this debate is about poverty, right? It's not about people that are working jobs that put them above poverty line and somehow that they're not feeling good, or people that don't feel like they're earning their keep. And like a couple new arguments were introduced in the closing, which we could talk about if we have to, but it was the whole idea of people not earning what they're worth, and what was the other one that she had mentioned that was new too? These are difficult to address because they're like new arguments, and I wish maybe during the back and forth we could have gotten into more. But I don't think any of those relate to people in poverty, right? We again, 4% of the people in poverty are working full time. That's it. And that's the whole ball of wax there. Anybody who is in poverty, except for those 4%, are not being exploited. Like this whole idea that, maybe look at it from an economic standpoint, or look at it from a different way of what exploitation is, what she was trying to say, the exploitation of resources or land. If we were truly exploiting all the things that we had, there would be no poverty. There would be no unemployment because we're fully exploiting those people. What? And so this whole idea, the difference would be that, at the very least, exploitation is the exact opposite of poverty. It shows that the society is exploiting their resources properly. And I'm using this in the positive connotation if people don't understand that exploitation isn't just a negative, isn't always a negative thing. So I don't think she's met her burden here. It's like she's pointed out at a couple of outliers to basically say, well, there's a couple areas out there that had slavery in the past and now they're still poor today. Of areas that had ignoring all the other areas that had slavery in the past that are not poor today. Atlanta might be a good example of that. North Carolina, South Carolina, because North Carolina, I don't think had slaves. I'd have to look. And so we can, look at just, pointing at a couple of outliers and say, yeah, the bad thing happened to that 160 years ago, and maybe they haven't caught up yet.
Redlining.
To me, that's not a sign of poverty being a sign of exploitation. It might actually be the reverse. Like we could look at something in Pennsylvania, like a mine, where it was a silver mine that they used to go do, but then the mine dried up and it's now a ghost town. Right? They exploited that mine, but the point is that town has now no longer has anything to offer.
So since
it's not
everybody
poverty
sucks,
being
the exploitation
a sign of exploitation. It's that when that town was exploiting all the silver there, it was a boom town. Everybody wanted to be there. It was actually a sign of flourishing. So she has everything. Poverty is going down, and yet somehow exploitation is going up. It makes no sense. It's the exact opposite of a correlation. It's a negative correlation, and therefore that's why I think negative wins.
All right. All right. Thank you both again. So that is debate number 2 in the bag. So we're dropping a link in the chat. You guys know what to do. Click that link. Tell us who you think made the most compelling case. Do you believe that it was Nightwisher on the affirmative? Or do you believe that it was Alley Cat on the negative?
I'm gonna send it to you,
while you guys are voting, we are going to have our judges go through and give their judgments. Let's see. I think we went with ANCOM first last time. So this time we are going to go to Confluence first. Confluence, are you ready to render judgment, sir?
Always
all right.
Ready.
Let's hear it, buddy.
Except when I'm not ready, which happens sometimes. But
yeah, that does happen. But all right.
So, I don't really have a ton to say on this. I think Nightwisher. I think your opening was really strong. I liked the link between the exploitation of the past and the transition into impoverished areas today. That's why I asked both of you questions about that.
Make sure to disconnect the Wi-Fi before you vote.
Alley Cat brought up a lot of poverty stats in his opening.
Vote your conscience.
A lot of focus was on these stats on what poverty means. There's a couple of things that maybe I would have argued differently. I don't know if I would have necessarily accepted that poverty is tied to the poverty line. Like, I think it's fair to have that definition, but I think maybe it would have been better if you went in the
I suck. I suck.
Living in an impoverished
that was a
state.
I thought it was
one definition, but
son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
Described as the poverty line. But yeah, overall,
there's a straw poll.
Yeah,
Got it.
Not much to say. So I'm not going to wax poetic.
Wax poetic. Please wax poetic.
Alley Cat. I think he had stronger points and contended better with the stats. And there's a few things that I hope.
How much more can I say? I suck. Jesus.
Because in Nightwisher, in your
govern me
closing,
harder, Daddy.
You were talking about the exploitation of resources and all of this stuff, and you were kind of maybe responding in part to my question and my question to Alley Cat. And you said that, well, they basically went into these areas and yeah, the industries are gone, but they ransacked them, and that still is a form of exploitation. I'm curious if there could be a good back and forth to be had in the after party. But I'm gonna give this. Wait, who's the affirmative? I always say this order wrong.
No, it's okay.
Nightwisher. So yeah. I'm gonna give 3-7 in favor of Alley.
All right, 3-7 in favor of the negative. And chat, remember, get those votes in, because if the judges disagree, then it comes down. It's all in your hands. ANCOM, where did you land on this one, sir, and why?
Sorry, chat. Once again, your vote doesn't matter. I am giving it to Alley Cat 4-6. While I agree far more with Nightwisher on this,
it was not a
issue,
strong debate. Yep.
I believe Alley Cat argued his points better, and he was unfortunately not those points were not effectively rebutted. Nightwisher made a lot of really good points, pointing out the fact that the areas of slavery and Jim Crow in the South overlap with extremely high correlation to modern rates of poverty. Was a very good argument. Unfortunately, as Confluence said, while I thought Alley Cat relied too much on the poverty line, I don't think Nightwisher brought up any real issues with how he framed that. And I was trying to kind of tease that out. I may have gone a little too far in my question to point out that the federal poverty line has many issues in what it claims to measure. But unfortunately, because those points were not effectively rebutted, I've got to give this one to Alley Cat. I'm really sorry, Nightwisher. I wanted to give you that vote. I really, really did. But I have to go with what I actually think was the better made argument, even if it's not the argument I agree with.
And I appreciate that so much, ANCOM. You have no idea, because again, that is what I tell you guys. We don't just vote on who we agree with or who we like the most. We vote on who made the most persuasive arguments. Now, that said, we are still going to check those votes from the audience. But once again, I'm going to go back here. My understanding is this is your first formal debate as well. Is that correct, Nightwisher? Yeah, you've never done anything like this
So
before.
That's kind of where
great.
I'm not.
Yeah, you did absolutely great. Do
like,
not hold your head in shame.
I want to make it very
keep coming
clear.
back.
I thought you did a fantastic job. Unfortunately, you just got outclassed.
And for
no, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. Like I said, I try my best to match people based on skill as well as tone. I know Alley Cat, correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't you like a high school debate teacher or something like that?
Not a teacher. I was on high school debate. I did judge afterwards. For sure, yeah.
There you go. So again, like I said, so again, we're all here to get better. We're all here to give feedback, et cetera, et cetera. So please keep answering the prompts because we will keep bringing you on, and we will definitely we will have you be able to beat up Loodle Miss in an instant. So
yeah.
I'd love
good luck with that.
And
I imagine
that's the one I want to see.
Yeah,
that is the benefit of being a sister is you can beat up on your brother all you want. They can't do shit.
Sure. Fair enough. So again, Alley Cat, ultimately, man, the win is yours, regardless of what the chat says. But also, I'm just glad to actually get you on. It's been a fucking long try. I have asked you like 20 goddamn times, and Discord hates you. He wanted to put his face up. He wasn't trying to hide y'all. It's just the internet doesn't like people with silver in their hair. So.
Yeah, I think I may have found the root cause of it. So right now I'm on a cell iPad, right? So I think it's my modem that's blocking the traffic. So it sucks. I have to figure that out.
How are you on a cell iPad?
And I'm sorry. We'll talk about it in the after party. There's reasons why it took me so long to get motivated and get everything running, but I think that's all behind me now. So I'm hoping to get much more into this.
Fan-fucking-tastic. There's definitely space here for you. So everybody go ahead and get those votes locked in. Let's go ahead and find out one more time because 3-0 versus 2-1 does make a difference. So chat, who did you guys think made the best case tonight?
Let's see.
It was by the slimmest of margins.
Nightwisher?
By one vote. It was Nightwisher gets the votes from the audience. So 6-4 for Nightwisher in the audience votes. So at least that's 2 split decisions back to back. So there you go. Once again, the chat loves you. We appreciate you, Nightwisher, and stick around if you can. I know you said you might have to leave early. It looks like Vince already had to leave. So again, people hang out for the after party, but if you can't, you can't. No worries. So thanks again, ma'am. And thank you again, Alley Cat. Hopefully you can stick around.
Hey, sis, if you want to.
All right, so we're going to get to our third and final debate of the night, everybody.
All right, hey, everybody in the chat.
Thank you both for being patient, Brandon and Game Boy. Looks like everybody. Oh, wow, Game Boy, you startled me with that face, man. You startled me. I was like, Game Boy, who doesn't use his cam, and then I looked up and I'm like, fuck that.
Change it.
No, you're good. You're good. I just thought that was actually you on the cam for a second. And
I'm a big fan.
Thank God it's not.
No, you're fine. You're fine. All right, so. Our third and final debate is a regular versus a new guy.
On the panel, I'll restream again.
We are debating rights are absolute. This could go a lot of different places, and I'm very excited to see it.
Later on,
but I'm also excited to see the new guy in action. So we'll start with you, Game Boy. I know you don't have any actual socials, but tell everybody who you are, what you're about.
Thank y'all so much. It's been a pleasure. Y'all the best.
Yo, follow me on
the best
4chan.
People on the internet live right here and also on Ryan Mullally's channel.
I don't even know if you can do that on 4chan.
You can't follow somebody on 4chan. What the hell is he talking about?
I'm a bum.
Okay.
Anyways, there you go. Follow him on OnlyFans.
What else did you want?
Yeah, call him.
No, you're good. You're good.
True. If you find
And Brandon, I know he seems like a troll, but he actually will bring you a good fight for you. Brandon, please tell everybody who you are, what you're about, and where they can find you. I will drop your link in the chat. Everybody give this a follow.
Take care, everybody. God bless. Godspeed. Good luck.
Sweet. Thank you. And thanks for having me. I'm just some guy on the internet